training program on research. Research methodology and data analysis. JP sir, shall we start?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
We are waiting for you.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay. I invite Pravina ma'am to introduce our resource person. Ma'am, please.
Most respected Professor Arivadi Nambi sir, Director of IQAC, resource person of today's session, Dr. B. Jayaprakash from Bharathidasan University, enthusiastic participants, good evening to all. I start with a quote. Highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life more meaningful. Let me have the pleasure of introducing the resource person of today, Dr. B. Jayaprakash. He is working as an associate professor in Library Information Science from Bharathidasan University, Trichy. He is an alumnus of Bishop Heber College, Trichy, having 25 years of professional experience. He has completed 3 PhDs under his guidance and 5 are ongoing. He has published 3 books and 10 book chapters and presented 70 papers in national and international conferences. 57 articles has been published in journals of repute. He has delivered 170 special lectures in various universities and institutions. He is an associate editor and peer reviewer for few library science journals. He is serving as a member of Board of Studies in Bharathidasan University, Pushpam College, Pundi, and Vellalar College for Women in Erode. He holds additional responsibility as placement coordinator. He is a member of the IQAC of Bharathidasan University. His areas of specialization are library automation, profile management system, open source software, and institutional repositories. Today, SAR will be dealing with publication metrics, H-index, impact factor, and citation database. On behalf of IQAC of Annamalai University, a warm welcome to you, sir. This platform is yours.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and for your nice introduction. Very good evening to all. And first, let me thank, hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very happy to be here as the resource person for your research methodology course. And my sincere thanks to the first Vice Chancellor of Annamalai University and Registrar and IQAC, the Director and coordinators of these programs. And our deputy coordinator of IQAC, Sanjeevi sir, is here. So very good evening, and my special other good evening to our participants, faculty members, and then researcher scholars of Annamalai University and other national institutions like. So very good evening, and today I wish to share, and the topic is publication metrics, which is given by your coordinators, and to discuss on what are the metrics which is available to measure our publications, and why this topic is much important is like, and whenever the IQAC, since it is conducting by the IQAC, they know the much important of this the title. Why? Because they are struggling a lot to collect that information from the faculty members. So I think that is the reason they're just fixed, and they wanted to enlighten on this topic by all the faculty members and then scholars to ease of their work for their future. So hope Sanjeev sir and those who are involved in IQAC, they were agreeing with me. I know that you are struggle, and yeah. So this topic, which is much important for our research scholars and then faculty members to know what exactly are the publication metrics and what are the ways which you can just measure of our publications. Okay, what are the ways you can just measure of our publications, and how this will be useful for that IQAC and also for that individual faculty members. So your academic the credits, so how you can just receive all it is. So everyone must understand what exactly that publication metrics, and very special people are just talking about whenever the NAC committee or your NARF ranking and whoever just comes, they're asking like, first, what exactly your H index of your institution. So what is the total citations of your institution, then the department, then individual. So all that queries which is asked by that members. So now we need to be very clear saying that what exactly our own H index and how we can just go for a the add the value for our institutions, like. Okay, so for this class will be very much useful, and I hope my previous resource persons, they might have enlightened you on various other topics. So here I wish to just take this opportunity to brief what exactly the publication metrics, H index, impact factor, and what are the citation database which is available, where exactly you can just go publish of your papers, and how it just credits you. All that I will discuss, and I hope they've just given that up to 5:30 we need to discuss on this. And in between any queries, you can just stop me, or we'll just take at the questions at the end. So whatever it's convenient, and we'll do it. Okay, yeah. Shall I just start sharing of my PPT, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hope it's clear. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's visible for everyone, or it is just slightly opening that PowerPoint?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Is it okay now? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So as I said, like which is most important topic for faculty members and scholars to know about what our publication, how this adds for our credit in academic. So with that the background, I'll just start present of my presentations. So now the publication metrics. So this word metrics means it is a measurement. In the academic publishing industry, they measure the impact of published research based on various metrics, to check at how many times a paper is cited by a subject or author. See, for example, when I, as a faculty member or a scholar, when you're just publishing of any of the paper, so that we can measure based on this publication metrics, we can measure that this paper how many times got cited by a subject or author, this can be tested. And then how many times a specific article in a journal is cited, how many times a specific article in a journal is cited, to assess the importance of the journal and its impact on a field of study. Actually, this will help you, the publication metrics will help you to measure a particular paper, how many times it got cited by a subject or author. Subject means, suppose I have just published a paper, so this paper how many times got cited by library and information subject, or and how many authors. Okay, all that can be measured. And then second one is how many times a specific article in a journal is cited, a particular article in a journal how many times got cited, so that to assess the importance of the journal. So this journal, when we publish our papers, how many times it is getting cited, all that can be measured. And it is impact on the field of the study, the particular journal, whether it is good for a particular subject, so whether it makes any impact or not. There are so many journals are there for a particular subject, but how this particular journal, whatever you are just going to publish, whether really it makes any impact or not. So that can be measured by this publication metrics. Hope you have understood. So simple. So whatever that we are publishing, and that publication can be measured. Okay, that can be measured. This is called a publication metrics. So simple as how many times whatever you publish, it got cited by a particular subject people or any of the authors. Second one is, even you can just identify the quality of a particular journal, particular article, how many times got cited. Now these two which makes for a publication metrics. Okay, So now when we say like we can measure our publications, okay, by citation and other things. So now here there are three metrics which is available and are related to the publications. So one is say with the journal metrics, the second one is with the author metrics, and third one is article metrics. So now journal metrics, so journal level metrics are used to determine the impact a journal has on the scientific community or a field of the study. It means a particular journal, when you say like a library and information science, and a particular journal really that contributes a lot for that the library science field or not, or at least that scientific community related to library and information science, whether it makes any impact or not, that can be measured by journal metrics. And then second one, even author metrics. Your author, when he just contributing, okay, so we can make his presence whether it makes any sense for the particular subject or not. Author level metrics provide an assessment of the impact that an author makes on the scientific community. So whether he makes any impact for a particular domain of a subject or domain of a subject of the researchers, that's called it as a scientific community or a field of the study. So this can be measured by author metrics. And third one is it is an article metrics. Now recently article level, you can just find out like really whether it has made an impact or not. Okay, so that's called article level metrics are used to quantify the impact of published articles, how published papers are being discussed and shared. Now recently social media concept, it is it's a very famous, and there are a lot of that information getting shared in social media, and even all the research papers are getting shared in the social media tools. There are a number of tools are there, say like a ResearchGate, Manly, Academia, so many are there. So now in this tools, how your papers are getting shared, so that can be also measured. Before it was not there, only the citation databases and other places you can just go measure, but here at the recent one it is okay. So is there any problem with the displaying of the PPT? A last line in the PPT is not shown, so I have just given only with the up to shared only. It's yeah, fine. So article level metrics are used to quantify the impact of published articles, how published papers are being discussed and shared. So it means whatever you publishing, whether it is how it is getting a publication and how it is just shared with the social media can be measured now. Now this is the recent one. They used to call it a alt matrix. They used to call us alt matrix. Now these three metrics which is used to measure the publication levels. Okay, so hope you understand what is a publication metrics in that metrics and what are the metrics which is available. Journal level, you can just make an impact, and then author level, and then article level. These three can be measured. See, these all, it is much important for IQAC people when they collect the message from the faculty members. So each and every faculty member, when you're just giving for 100 papers what you produced, so all that 100 papers, it is not going to make any impact for your institution. It is only based on that number of citations, number of H index what you received. If it is received only, those papers will give a credit to your IQAC or NARF. Otherwise, whatever the 100 papers which you are just giving, and it won't be useful. It won't be useful. Simply, you can just make a list, and even IQAC people, when they just go to that NAC and the third category with the research, in that, when you just fill up all that the faculty members' publications, and without getting any citation or impact, when you just publish, when you just list in that, it won't create any impact for your the IQAC credits. Okay, so for that we should know and what is impact, and where when we can just float off our papers, and which kind of a journal we can just select it. Once we just select and how that citation is receiving, and based on your good publication, you will receive a credit. So this is the way we need to think of. That's what it is a much important of this publication metrics is important for our faculty members and then research scholars. Okay, yeah. So now we have seen like the three types of metrics which was there available, and now very specific, yeah, very specific, and the journal metrics, and what are the metrics which is available. Okay, so for a journal to measure, what are the metrics which is available. So here very famous, the tags which is available. One is with the impact factor, and second one is with the H index. So impact factor and H index, that's also very, very dominative word, which is by all that our faculty members and research scholars. Whenever the committee comes to us and they're asking like, and the total number of H index of your institution, and the total number of H index of your department, and individual faculty H index, and total number of citations, all that questions which they asked. So that's what this class will highlight, what exactly that impact factor, how they can just calculate, and what exactly that H index, and how you can just measure it. And I have some snapshots, and we can also see that how it is getting really measured in the database. That also I've just taken a snapshot, so for a better understanding, we'll discuss on that. Like, okay, so now when we say like a journal metrics, there are number of metrics which is available, but very, very famous, yeah, very famous. When we say like it is an impact factor, why it has become a very famous is our IQAC or NRF and our government of India, which they are asking only these are the measurement they are having into the calculation. For example, yeah, for example, so when the IQAC NAC, when they are just visiting, they'll be asking like how many papers you have just floated in the impact factor, and what is the range of impact factors your publication, your institution publications are available. So now it is impact factor, and it is just taken care by that government of India. Okay, so which they're very, very specific NAC people or NRF, they're asking that. That's what it is. There are a number of metrics are there, but this impact factor is very famous. I'll explain. At the same time, it's a H index also, right? So as a faculty member, as a scholar, we should also know, and other than that, what are the journal metrics which is available? One is with the impact factor, and second one is with the aging factor, and third one is with the immediacy index, and the fourth one is with the SCI. So now Saimaga journal ranking, it is there by the Scopus. First three, which is ranked these metrics, which is by the Web of Science. First three is by the Web of Science, and second, the third, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, or another set of three, which is by the Scopus. So two dominative and databases or publishers which they're just dealing with this metrics. So first impact factor, aging factor, immediacy index, these all it is by the Web of Science, and Saimaga journal ranking, and source normalized impact per paper, and site score. These three are which is by and elsewhere very dominative. So it is very famous, only the impact factor, but even then as a scholar we should know what exactly in future, if any of that our NAC or NRF, and they just change, and we should also know about this. Okay, right. So now impact factor, I'll tell you how you have to just calculate. When you know this, and you won't get into the problem of and publishing your papers in the predatory journals. Okay, so this impact factor is nothing but very simple. So they are calculating every year the journal quality by the Web of Science and Scopus. So they are taking the account of last 2 years, total number of citations received by the particular journal divided by the total number of papers, total number of publications, you can say. Okay, so this is the logic. I have another screenshot for a better explanation. This is it. Now aging factor, so this is also the again metrics which eliminates for that self citations. Now whenever you go for your NAC and filling up the third category of your research, they are asking that your name, serial number, name of the paper, title of the paper, and author, and which journal which is indexed, whether SCI indexed, they will ask, and then they will ask for the total number of citations and H index. Hope Sanjeev sir, you can agree with me, and they'll be just asking this. I know that how much struggled those who are involved in that IQAC to fill that columns, very tough it is. Okay, so now these kind of information which is asked there, they're asking like SCI indexed. Okay, that is nothing but and science citation index. SCI is science citation index. So this is what they listed only SCI, but they have not even just given for others. Okay, so there are indexes or social science index are there, all those things are there. So now they are asking at the last column excluding of a self citation. Okay, excluding of a self citation, it means how many times your paper you're referred. So that gives for the and self citation. So now agent factor that excludes that. Now immediacy index is nothing but this impact factor and other things are they're just calculating for the last 2 years. Okay. Now this immediacy indexes, they will be just understand that the particular journal really they made any impact on for a current year. It means this year itself total number of citations received divided by number of publications. So it means your subject, there may be a number of journals and you can measure like current year which journal is doing good. So that measurement can be done by this immediacy index. Like, okay, so hope you're very clear and we not to bother about all those things. Only impact factor highlight will be there, but anyway, as a scholar and faculty member, we should get some highlight on this. Okay, yeah. Now SCI SciMaker journal ranking. Now this is by the Scopus. Okay, this is freely available. I have just given you the site. You can just go try to look what are the score related to your subject specific. You can identify the journals and you try to publish on that. Okay, this is SciMaker journal ranking and source normalized impact per paper. Say their source normalized impact per paper SNP. This is the new one. How they've just measured is, for example, one paper I'm just floating in library information science. Okay, I may be just received for 1,000 citations. I may be received by 1,000 citations. Now this 1,000 citations, they are checking all that citations which I've got it from library science or some other subject. Why? Because now there are a number of references are happening. So the other subject people are just reading. Okay, so then when we say like I have received for 1,000 citations means by SNP they can calculate how many citations I have received in only in library science, because my paper what real that impact made for library information science. So hope you understand. So this will get eliminate the citations which has happened in other subjects. Yeah, this is called a SNP. Now CiteScope, these also it is freely available. They're just calculating for a last 3 years. Impact factor, they're saying that 2 years, but here in CiteScope, they're taking for last 3 years calculation. Last 3 years and total number of citations received divided by and last 3 years total number of articles published. Okay, now this is the calculation. I have a screenshot. I'll explain. So hope it is clear to everyone. Yeah. Yeah. The total 194 entries are there. Like, and hope I'm just reaching everyone. My audio, that language and everything it is. Yeah. Calculation are not seen. Still, I have not given any calculation. I'm just explaining the concept alone. So the next screenshots, it will be there as the calculations. Okay. Yeah. And next is with the author metrics. So here I told you there are two the dominative words which is there. One is impact factor, second one is for H index. See, all the committee whenever they just receive, they are asking this query. So what exactly the H index, and we should understand. Okay, yeah, the H index, it's nothing but the average citations of a particular article. Okay, I'll explain with the screenshots and tell you. Now article metrics. So I've told you there is a measurement by that articles. So that's called recently, which has come up. That's called alt matrix. So based on this alt matrix, we can understand that a particular article how many times got shared in the social media. So now, before they were a concept, only the citations can be done in Web of Science and Scopus is the dominative citation databases. Okay, so now there are the other options, even which is getting shared by social media can be also measured. So that's the new measurement. It is called the alt matrix. Okay, so now this is the these are the name of the metrics which is available. So hope you are very clear about this. So we'll just see that further what exactly the H index and impact factor and screenshots what it just gives, and then where we can just go measure. Okay, so those things, and we can say. Now first one is what is the H index. So H index was suggested by George E. Hurst. So he is the author. So it is just called as Hurst index, you can say, otherwise you can just say for Hurst number, or you can just even call as a H index. H index you can call, right? Now this H index, it attempts to measure both the productivity and impact of the published work of a scientist or a scholar. See, now based on this H index, we can understand a particular author, the total number of the articles produced. Okay, a total number of articles produced. So here both the productivity and impact means total number of articles produced by the author can be measured, and impact of the published work. So really, a scientist or a scholar, what they've just published, those published papers really made an impact for a particular subject or to the authors, that can be measured by the H index. Hope you're very clear. Impact factor, we told, that is for a journals, that is for a journals to find out which is a quality journal, right? And this one, it goes for a to measure a particular author's productivity, right? Yeah, the H index, it is based on the set of scientists most cited papers and the number of citations that they have received in other publications. So here, even you can just understand the most cited papers. For example, COVID. So COVID, we can understand like, and who is the COVID most cited papers of a set of scientists, we can understand, right? What are the papers of theirs that can be done, and the number of citations that they received in other publications. Okay, so famous author, they're just producing the number of articles, and some articles which is related to the COVID. So those COVID, how much the citation which is received, and other papers also, how much it is received. All that citations can be measured by H index. Hope you're very clear on this. So this is very, very special for an individual author, a group of authors, and their impact we can measure. And the H index can also be applied to the productivity and impact of a group of scientists, such as department or a university or a country. Even this H index can be measured a group of scientists. For example, your department, there are 6 members are there. So all that scientists, you can all the faculty members, you can just measure, or exclusively you can just measure for the department contribution. Total, there are 10 members are there. All the department contribution, you can just go for it. Or university. Okay, total number of publication by the university, you can just measure. Or even we can just understand like India, what is the contributions towards the COVID, all that can be measured by H index. Hope it is very clear. Impact factor can be measured for a quality of a journal. This H index, we can understand the individual publications and group of members publications, and the department and the university or any college or a country. So these can be measured by and H index. So hope it's clear. So if somebody asks, we can be very clear on that. And impact factor related to quality of a journal. H index, it is to check the impact of the individual authors, group of authors, and then institutions, right? So next, now we know what the details of the H index. Now this is the H index calculation, like, okay. So normally when we read any formula, sometimes it's very difficult to understand. So same way, and they've just given that a scientist has index H if H of his or her number of papers have at least H citations each, okay, and the other number of paper and equal to H papers have no more than H citations each. I hope it is very difficult to understand. Okay, yeah, it is as simple as H has at least H papers. It means each and every papers you have number of citations. That's called, they are calling as H. Okay, so H has at least H papers that have been cited H times. So here, for example, H index, when we say a scholar with an H index of 22 means, so he has 22 papers that have been cited at least 22 times. Say like Jayaprakash has more than 50 papers or 60 papers. Okay, my H index, when we say like a 5, okay, 5 papers, and it has just received 5 citations. Okay, at least for 5 times it has just received. That's the reason H index 5 means it has 5 papers that have been cited at least for 5 times. So hope you are very clear. So it is simple when we can just say for the number of citations that is received for a particular the paper. Okay, okay, it's we can say like average citations per paper. Is it clear? Yeah. Now next, for example, simple, I'll just put it. See, when you just receive this is the articles, how we can just calculate is number of articles and number of citations received for it. See here why it is first article, it says like a 33 citation. It means as a scholar, as an author, your first article, and it shows like it's much more quality. Okay, first article what you produced is, it is a more quality, so you received for 33 citations. You received for 33 citations. Your second paper what you just produced, you received for 30 citations. So it means each and every time when you're just producing a paper, so here very specific citation means that shows your quality. Citation means that shows your paper's quality. That's the meaning of here. Okay, number of citations means number of people they referred. It means that makes impact of your the quality. So first paper 33, second paper 30, third paper 20. So like that, this is your publication papers, and this is what citations what you received for your publications. Now where exactly your paper and your citation meets, that place is called the H index. Hope you are clear. First paper very quality, 33 citations I have received. Second 30. So like that, this is your papers, and what are the citations you have received, you have to put it in the descending order. Exactly where your paper and citation meets, this place is called the H index. So now H index of a particular author is 6. Sometimes you may ask, sir, if it is not meeting exactly, so how do we just calculate? So here citations can be 1 or 2 more. Citations can be 1 or 2 more, but even then 1 or 2 more also, your article, your number of publication will be a count of H index. Like, okay, say for example, like this is the 6 is there. If it is there for the 7, even your H index is only 6. You should calculate as per your the paper. It is not by the citations. Hope it is clear. Your number of each and every paper, you are getting a citation, and that paper exactly your citation where it meets, that place is called the H index. So this is the way you can just calculate your average citation of your publications. Like, yes. So now you see that it looks with the graphics, like say here citations are there, and this number of papers are there, and your paper and your citation exactly where it meets, this is called the H index. Now this is the way you can just calculate for your H index for your publications, like, right? Yeah. So now before the impact factor. So before we just go to that impact factor, and I'll just tell you there are 4 types of publications which is available. So for example, like sir, I want to just publish in a very good journal article. How do I just go collect it? Where is the source? I can just go collect it. Okay, like that. So now there are 4 the ways you can just publish of your article. So one is the first, whatever the article which you're just writing and you're selecting in a particular journal, simply it is just getting published. For example, I am the publisher, I'm running a journal, you are giving an article, and without any evaluation, what I'll do, I'll just publish by next week itself. So now this is just getting a publication without any peer review concept. So there is an option called refereed journal, peer review journal. Okay. So if they are not evaluating, that is not a peer review journal. Second, the way of publishing, you are submitting an article. So that comes to me. What I'm doing is I'm just sending to experts to review on it. So what I'll do, as soon as I receive an article from you, I have a set of the experts as an editor and the peer reviewer I used to have. So I'll be just sending your article to them, and then they will review what is positive, what is negative. Really, this paper will make any impact for our the journal, whether it is there with the scope of the journal or it is a recent research. All they will just test it. Okay. After testing, they will say like send the comments. All it is after reviewing, they may include it. Now this is process. It's called peer review or a refereed journal. You can say, right? Now third categories are there. Now peer review, refereed, and indexed. So then indexed means now that journal which is indexed in Web of Science or a Scopus or a PubMed, wherever the database are there. Okay, it is indexed. So now peer reviewed, it is a quality. Peer reviewed or refereed is the quality, and more than that, indexes it's the peer reviewed, peer reviewed and indexed is more quality on that. So when you publish a paper in an indexed journal, only you will get a citation details. For example, I have just published a paper. You are referring mine. after I have just published a paper in an indexed journal, okay, indexed journal, for example, Scopus indexed journal, I have just published. Now, after referring my paper, what you are doing is you are also just referring, you are publishing in indexed journal. You are publishing in indexed journal, not in the same journal, indexed journal. Okay, so then I'll be getting for a one citation. When you just referred in indexed, I'll be getting for a one citation. If you are publishing without that indexing journal, I won't be receiving any citation at all. I won't be receiving any citation. Then make sure that how difficult it is getting a citations by a author. Okay, so one is whatever the publication, what I'm just doing, I should select for the peer reviewed indexed journal. Okay, and whoever is referring my article, they should also publish there in the indexed journal. Then only I'll be getting for a one citation. So sometimes you may feel like, sir, I have 60 articles. All 60 articles are very famous in my field. There are a number of people are referring, but I'm not getting any citations. Like, okay, now what is the reason? You should come to know that they are all referring it, right? But they are not publishing into the indexed journal. Simply they are just publishing in the local journals, and which is not nowhere is indexed. Okay, so then obviously whatever they just refer, you won't get any citations at all. So this is the reason many of the authors which they are not getting a citation at all. Now hereafter, you please make sure that you try to select that indexed journal on related to your subject, and then select, you publish it. Sure, it will have a impact of your articles by the citations. Then you will be getting a very good recognition by your colleagues. So this is the indexed, and more than that, there is a quality. So that's called impact factor journals. So now peer reviewed, indexed, then impact factor. Now impact factor is, it's really a high quality. Okay, that fixes by the publishers, say like a Web of Science and Scopus. So what they're doing, like every year they are publishing for the impact factor journal list. Okay, so based on that, they are getting the highlighted the journals for a particular subject. So when you try to publish others impact factor journal, really your visibility will be there on a higher side, and also your academic credit, for example, like a ranking system or a mark systems are there. For example, when you just publish for your article in a indexed journal, like you will be getting for a 10 marks. Okay, the same thing like when you publish in an impact factor journal. So there are the calculation in UGC saying that 0.1 and 1 to 5 and 5 and above, all that categories are there. So when you publish in a very good impact factor journal, one article you will be just getting for a 25 plus 10. So like that, augmented value will be there. That's what, instead of publishing 100 articles, you select for a very good impact factor journal, you publish only 10 articles, you will get for a 250 marks. Very simple. So this is the way you have to select impact factor journal for a better visibility and go for a high quality. So hope you understand. So now I'll come back to what exactly that impact factor. So now impact factor, which is devised by Eugene Garfield. So he is the author, and it is calculated as the number of citations to a journal for the previous 2 years. Number of citations to a journal for a previous 2 years divided by number of articles published in those years. I have told you impact factors, they are calculating for last 2 years citations divided by number of articles published in those years. Okay, now see, they are, if you want to calculate for 2013, for example, you have to just select a number of times that article published in journal 2011 and 12 were cited article indexed in journal of 2013. For example, 2013, when you want to check that impact factor, 11 and 12 total number of citations what they received, and B is total number of citable item published. Okay, 2011 and 12 total number of articles published. For example, there is a monthly journal. Okay, you are just calculating it. There is a monthly journal. I wanted to find out for a 2013. Okay, so now this 2011 and 12 monthly journal means each and every month one journal will be there. So 12 per year is. So 12 plus 12 is 24. 24 journal issues are there. 24 journal issues are there. Okay. So now in a 24, each and every month we are publishing for 10 articles, for example. So now for 24 the issues are there. Each and every issue deals with the 10 articles. Now total articles is 240. For example, 2 years there are publications around 240 articles, right? So now in this 2013, last 2 years, I have received around 1000 citations. I have received around 1000. Now 1000 divided by 240 equal to this, it comes for 4.01 or something it comes. Now this 4 will be the impact factor of my journal. Hope you are very clear. Now what we are doing is we are getting number of mails saying that, dear professor, I would like to receive your manuscript for publication in our impact factor journal. That impact factor is 10, 12, 20, 30, sometimes it goes 100 also. With the colorful logo, all they're just giving. So they are asking you to just publish of your articles in impact factor. So this is the way they are making and predatory journals to reach and your publications and all. Okay. So now to avoid that, if any mails which you just receive, okay, simply you please ignore it. Normally a very good journal, they won't send any mails to that individual authors. Okay, be clear on this. Second, they are not known about your name and all. So now very special, they will be writing a mail saying that dear Professor Jayaprakash, you would like to have your manuscript, all like that. So this is all it is the predatory journals. So once you say yes, and they'll be asking you to submit your article will be get published within a week time, but they'll be asking you for the processing fee. So maybe like a 3,000, 2,000 or 5,000 they will ask. Now here point is like we are all just forced to submit of our thesis or by peers the pressure, and we wanted to publish of number of papers. So we are just taking away of this kind of a journals like, okay. So hereafter, please, now you know that what is that impact factor and how you have to calculate, and you can just ignore those kind of a mails. Like now this is the best way to avoid, and you should also know how effectively I can just choose for that impact factor journal to publish of your high quality the articles. Like, so hope it is clear to everyone. Now this is the way you can calculate for your impact factor. Like, okay, now simple, the logic here is the total number of times articles were cited and divided by number of articles published in those years. It is called and impact factor for a particular year. Now this impact factor, sir, you may ask like, sir, every year how they just calculating it? I have told you last 2 years they're just taking it, they are calculating. Now based on the number of citations only, they are fixing that impact factor. For example, Web of Science, they are producing a journal citation report, that's called JCR, Journal Citation Report. So this JCR, they are publishing by every year, they are just publishing it. When they just every year when they just publish, they are just calculating, and yeah, they are just calculating for every year number of citations are divided by number of papers published. So this way, see here, MAS quarterly, they have received around 9,600 citations, and it got 5.31. It says like a 5.311 is the impact factor. So like that, every year they are calculating by Web of Science. Now this is again which is available by cost. So this simply you cannot see how that publishers they're charging is to see that whether it is a quality journal, they're charging you. Now this is called a journal citation report. Sometimes you may ask like, so where do I just go have a look, which is a very good journal for my subject, which has an impact factor? Where do I go and check it? Now this is the place, JCR, Journal Citation Report. It is by the Web of Science, and you can calculate. Okay, so this, it is not fixed, it may changes for each and every year. Okay, every year the quality may change, so every year they're just preparing this. So kindly have a look into this, right? So now next is, for example, this JCR, I've told you it is by again price based, it is available. See what they're doing is every year June, actually 1 year the later, they are releasing is a free of cost. Now this JCR 2020, which is available in a Google, and you can just go browse and get the list. See here, this PDF will be available free of cost. Now you can understand like CA, Cancer Journal for Clinicians. This is the topmost journal. It says like a 297, 297, 292 is the impact factor. So like that, they are giving a very clear information, each and every journal, what is that impact factor there. Okay, now this is 1 year later, which is freely available just for your information. Now itself, we can just go Google it and find out and then receive this PDF, keep it with you, select that your subject, and you try to see which is an impact factor journal and then publish. Now this is the way you can land for the quality journal, to publish of your articles. Okay, so now next is a simple, I've told you SJR calculations are there. Okay, so this SJR calculation, I've told you like they are calculating average of weighted citations received in a year. Actually, weighted citation is more citations what it is received in a year divided by number of documents published for the last 3 years. Okay, so here all scopus they are calculating for 3 years, but impact factor they're calculating for 2 years, 5 years. There are the concepts are there. So this is with the 3 years. Now second one is SNPs. I have told you journal citation count per paper divided by citation potential in a subject area. I have told you like a library science, total number of people have referred. So that way you can just go calculate for really the impact which is done by the particular subject people. It is not any other subject, not any other subject. Now side score, I have told you like last 3 years. For example, so here the picture is there to calculate for a 2015, to calculate for the 2015, and they are calculating for last 3 years, and what are the citations received divided by number of papers. So this is the way they can calculate. So hope it is clear to you. And the scopus, they have a SGR ranking is there, SNP is there, and side score. But these all still our IQAC people or government of India, which is not adopted. Okay, now so simply they are asking like the total the impact factor journal, and that's what they are asking like. So now we need to convert and then say yes. So now next is where you can just go have a look of this. Say like SJR I've told you, and Scimago journal ranking I've told you. Now this is freely available. You can just go to that scimago.jr.com. Now this is freely available. Here you can just go and have a look into that. All the subject areas there, categories there. You can select. Okay, you can select that title and see here it is the journal SJR. They have just given that it is a 72 point something like. Okay, so now this is freely available. You can go to this scimago.jr.com, select your subject and try to see what are the important journals are which is available for your subject with the SJR ranking. Okay, next is with the site score. So now this site score, it says like a same cancer journal for clinicians. It says like a 160.19. Okay, this they are calculating for last 3 years. What is the citations received divided by number of. So it means every year they're just calculating this quality of really that journal is doing good or not. You can understand. Okay, yeah, this is what fixing a quality for a particular subject. Yeah, next is with the SNP. So this SNP I've told you very specific. Even when you just receive a lot of citation, very specific for a particular article, and it is received a citation for a subject specific. So that goes with a 100.0.14. So there are the different the measurements for that SNP and score and everything. Okay, so hope you are very clear about that what a SNP and what is a site score and all. So now next is important is UGC care journals. UGC care journals. So now it is all that research scholars and faculty members, and as a supervisor you will get a lot of confusion on this and a lot of the negative the impact from that your thesis section, research section, all it is. So now just brief about this what the UGC care is. So this UGC care, before it was there as a UGC approved list. Now 2019 June they have just come up with that. June 14th they have come up with this this UGC care journals. So now it is a mandatory by that all that the research scholars, and you have to produce for 2 articles, 2 journal articles and related to your research area. That's what is specific. So now for that, Government of India as UGC has fixed this is the UGC-CARE consortium for select that quality journal. Select the quality journal. Okay, so many of the people, yeah. Okay, some message which is there by Saravana Priya ma'am. Respect sir, one of my article. Okay, fine. We'll discuss. Maybe like when we just start about this, there will be a number of the queries will be there. We will discuss on this. Let me just brief and hope by the briefing some of the problem will solved, and some you may have a doubt, and then we'll inquire and we'll discuss on this. Right now, this UGC-CARE, they have just fixed. There are involved in the 4 universities taking care. Pune University, all okay, and Baroda University, Hyderabad University, all that 4 universities just taking care for checking of including the quality journals. And UGC also, they have a members. So this member, the universities people, they are just recommending the good and quality journals to this. But again, they are just saying that it is in a dynamic list. That's what it is a problem with all that our faculty members and scholars we are facing it. Okay, so dynamic, like now and then just removing from the list. So as per the request by the faculty members and scholars, when they say it is in the quality, once it is included, that they should not, but they are making us it is in a dynamic list. And if somebody reports, and if it is not a quality venue proof, and they will remove from this. Okay, so for this, my advice, all the scholars and faculty members, first you should create your login. This first you should create a login of yours. Okay, first you should create a login. So they will be asking you for the registration. Once it is over, and you can just log in and you see that the list. And many of the scholars which they are not aware, how do we just see the list of the UGC-CARE, please. And you should know all the basic things, and you should advise your scholar group saying that this is good related to our subject. This all you should do it. Okay, so now registration should be done, and you can just go to that UGC-CARE, the above site, and then just click on it. They will allow you to register, and you can just go for a login and run. Now they have just fixed us, and 2 things. One is a UGC-CARE list. Group 1 is there too. So group 1 is it is qualified or suggested by that the UGC member, that universities. Okay, the journals one qualified through UGC-CARE. It means it is a local universities which is a recommended list will be available in a group 1. There is an option for group 2. So here journals indexed in globally recognized databases, that is Web of Science and Scopus. Web of Science and Scopus. Now these are the group which is available in UGC-CARE. As a scholar, please see to that group 1 will be locally recommended by that the UGC members and then universities, and group 2 which is already indexed in Web of Science and Scopus. Right. So now next is, say like in a group 1 you want to search, and you can just search it here. And group 2, when you want to search, just click on it. That takes you to, and that takes you to Web of Science. What are the index journals? So SCI, we told that Science Citation Index, I've told you. See here, Arts and Humanities Citation Index, Science Citation Index, and then Social Science Citation. These 3 are there, but our NAC simply they are saying that SCI index journals. So they can simply say that indexed in where? Indexed in Web of Science or indexed in Scopus. That's enough. They do not to specifically ask for SCI. Then again, our people are getting a confusion like, sir, what is SCI? Okay, so this, let it be as you assume that whether it is indexed in a Web of Science or a Scopus, there you can mention it. Okay, now this is the clarity by that UGC when by the NAC when they ask how you have to fill it. And when you just blanks to the science community, you can just go to that Science Citation Index. If it is in the social sciences, you can go to this. So that is the mentions. Okay, so now what I have told you, like indexed journals. Okay, sir, where do I look at indexed journals? This is the place. So hope now you understand. Indexed Journal of Arts and Humanities, you can check into the Arts and Humanities Citation Index. Indexed Journals of a Science, you can check into the Science Citation Index. And social sciences, you can go to that Social Science Citation. This is the way you can browse and identify where exactly the good journals are available for a subject specific. This is with the Web of Science. The second one is with the Scopus. Okay, so now these 2 are very, very dominative citation databases which is available to select for your indexed journals. So advice is better you can just go select by indexed journals and publish off your articles. If you select in a group 1, so sometimes after just publishing, the time of submitting of your thesis, they may find saying that your journal is not there in the care list. Now this is the most the problem. Most of the scholars are facing a problem by all that universities. Okay, so the time of submission they won't allow you to do it. So be careful. Just select. Better is selecting by that indexed journals by Web of Science and Scopus. And even when you just go with that UGC care journal, see to that whether it is indexed or not. That also sometimes it is there. Okay, so both the ways you can just make sure that whether it is indexed or not. Okay, so now this the screenshot so just taken by UGC approved journals, and there are about 1264 total journals are there, and they are also just given to the very specific sciences, social sciences. See, scholars, please visit what is related to your sciences. Just go to the click that 298 and select of your subject specific. You keep a list with you. And related to my subject total, which is there in the UGC group 1 total, how many is there? UGC group 2, how many is there? So when you have this there, you can just select this which is good or okay. If you doesn't know, if somebody refers and simply when you just publish on it, they'll be charging for a 3,000, 5,000, and your article will be there, but it give you the problem like the time of submission. Okay, so be clear in this. Many of the scholars they are not even aware of this and where to go and have a look, and they're just coming to the library. They are not internal. Okay. See, actually, UGC, I have told you now, group one is suggested by that universities. Somebody is given a chat saying that whether it is not included in the Web of Science or not. So group 1 is recommended by the universities, and group 2 is very specially it is indexed. Okay, so Web of Science which is indexed in group 2 journals, right? Yeah, group 2. Yeah. So now here it is the number subject specifics are available, and this subject specific you can just click and then find out it. Let it be all the chat and the queries, and we'll discuss at the end. Okay, yeah. So science, when I just click, I can understand like total number of journals which is available in UGC care group 1. Okay, you select and you try to understand the scope of the journal and publish it. Okay, now this is the way you can select the journals. And the sample, I've just clicked on the computer science. There are the 37 journals are there. Okay, and now these also the time of publication you should see, and now and then better you can have a screenshots and then screenshot the time of publication. See that once it is published, you take a screenshots and then keep it with you. Sometimes it may help you that university when they agreed saying that the time of publication whether it was there or not, they may ask the evidence that you can have it with you, right? So now next is with the Scopus indexed journals. See here it is Scopus indexed journal. There are around 41,000 plus journals are available in a Scopus. So it's a very, very larger database. So there you can just select for the indexed journal related to your subject. Okay. Now next is Web of Science. So there are about 25,000. So 25,000 are available in this. Okay, you can just select it. So these all, it is a indexed journals by Web of Science and Scopus. If you are not known about these sources, always you may land into the predatory journals. So be clear into this, where to go, Web of Science and Scopus, select that and try to see, then you publish up your papers, right? Okay, yeah. Now, say here, I wish to tell you, and there are there are a number of predatory journals. Okay, even see how the people are charging you like a processing fee. They're just charging. How they're just charging is, for example, see here this journal what I've just taken is Turkish Journal of Computer and Mathematics Education. So this is the Turkish Journal of Computer and Mathematics Education. This is really which is indexed. It was indexed in the Scopus. See here, Scopus coverage years from 2018 to 20. So now till 20 December only this is this was available with the Scopus. Be clear on this. This was available with the Scopus. Now coverage discontinued in Scopus right now, which is not there. Now what they're doing, this same journal title, same ISSN number, they're making a one site they are asking you to collect, asking you to submit the article, they're collecting money. So you may go with this title. Okay, this title, you make sure that whether it is indexed or not. Yes, you may see that, yes, sir, it is indexed, but see that the coverage, it says like 18 to 20. It means 20 December itself, it got discontinued. Okay, now predatory people, what they're doing is they are selecting this title, they're making a site, and they're collecting the articles, they're asking you to pay for it. Then finally, they will give you that logo, all that things, which is a Scopus index, all they will charge it. And finally, time of a submission, like us, when we evaluate, we may reject you. Like, okay, so be careful. This is the, so here always option is see to this, then go to the source homepage. Source homepage. Hope it is visible to you. Source homepage. So just click on it. This gives the original site. This gives the original site. So when I click, this may be in a yellow color. Okay, now. So this may be in a yellow color, or a duplicate means some other color will be. Now what I've done is I've just clicked on the particular title that is taking to Turkish. It was there in the languages Turkish. Now it is asking like, I've just changed the English. I want to know. Now this is the original site. This is the original site, Turkish Journal of Computer and Mathematical Edition, which is indexed in Scopus. So now this is the about all it is there. Okay, original. Now I'll show you, since it got discontinued from 2020. So how people are cheating you, like, so next. Now this is with the predatory journal site. Looks the same. Okay, looks same. Now it's not original. Whether you're getting a slides, predatory, no. Yes. So now first one, what I've just shown is like the original, and second one, what I'm just showing is the predatory journal. Why? Because see here, they have just given the same title, same ESSN number, and but only thing is the structure may be slightly changed. Structure may be slightly changed. So now these kind of an insights you should have to evaluate whether it is right or wrong. When you're not doing this, you will be landing to the negative, the journal only. That goes with the predatory journal. So this is the message, important message for everyone. Just go to that source and see that whether the what color they have just given, structure they have given, whether it is indexed till 2020 or 21, 22, whatever it is, you can just review it. Okay, so now this is the way you can highlight and then look for that. So now here one more sample. Slightly they're changing a title and then making a duplicate the predatory journals. So here first journal original, which is indexed in Gadrock and organized sites. So this is the original journal which is indexed in and Scopus. Now see Scopus coverage from 2008 to present. 2008 to present it should be. Okay, 2008 to present. So now here, when you just go to that the source page, you can understand that. Now I'll just go for the predatory journal title. Now see here, Gadrak EN organized site, SHEIN. So now this is the predatory journal. It says Gadrak organized review. Something they've added a concept. It is called something they've added a concept. It's called review. So hope it's still, is it visible to everyone? A review. Gadrock and organized review. Simply they are adding a review, research, something, some tag they will add. So this is a duplicate. So now that was another color and this is in the different color. So now many of the scholars, they're landing to this problem. Kindly avoid this, cross check. If anybody says don't go with that, now you know that the clarity, how you can just go verify and check it all right? So this is the way you can just go for it, right? So hope it is clear to everyone. Maybe like what are the questions which you asked? Sometime you might have not, you might have been cleared about this explanation, right? Now you may ask like, sir, exactly where do I just go check whether it is original or not? Now there is a site, it is called bellslist.net. Okay, so bellslist.net. Now this site you can just go have a look. There are number of predatory journals listed, number of publishers, number of metrics. Sometimes I told you like an impact factor. So they may say like impact factor of India, impact factor of Tamil Nadu. So like that they may fix. So it is wrong. So all that can be cross-verified in this bellslist.net. So please make a note, and then this is the place where exactly you can find out whether the journal is original or not. So before you go for a publication, please verify and then do it. Right. Now this is with the, so till now, what I've just covered is, I've just covered like what is the publication metrics, what are the names which is available, and what is journal, what is author, and then article. Then later we have just looked with what is impact factor, what is H index, okay, and UGC CAR list. Now here, sir, so many you told like and citation, all it is like where exactly I can just check the citations, where exactly I can check the citations of my papers. So now it is only you can just check in the citation databases. So that's called citation databases, or the database that have been developed for evaluating a publications. Only to evaluate a publications, there are the options for our databases. That's called citation database. This citation databases are enables to count citations and to check which articles or journals are the most cited ones. Now, based on this citation database, we can understand and which paper, which article got cited more. For example, in a COVID, maybe like Omicron, topmost article who was produced, that you can find out. And that article, how many times it got cited, you can find out. And plus this article published in which journal, all that can be done. Okay, so this is very simple to measure. I've told you that measuring can be done only in citation databases. Okay, so now what are the citation databases which is available is, one is Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar, Indian Citation Index. Now the recent one, it's called the Dimensions, recent one which is there with the Dimensions. So these all available as in a citation databases. Okay, so hope you are very clear. We have just told you like and what exactly the publication metrics and where we can just go, how to select for that original the journals, how do we just avoid the predatory journals, all letters. Now finally, how do we just look at that impact? So that can be done only with the citation databases. Now what are the databases which is available is Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar, Indian Citation Index, and Dimensions. Okay, now in Dimensions and all, it is very recent one, just to know I'm just giving. But Government of India by UGC and plus NAC, NRF, everyone, they are looking only Web of Science and Scopus. Be clear on this. They are looking only with the Web of Science and Scopus, not anything else, not anything else. But social sciences, the faculty members and then scholars, sometimes for your CAS or whatever it is, you may look with the Google Scholar and other things, you can make it ready of it. Okay. Now this is the citation databases. Now simple the overall the coverage of that Thomas or Web of Science. It's very simple. Like Web of Science, it is by the Thomas Reuters. Now recently it called Clarivate Analytics. The company it's called Clarivate Analytics. Now Web of Science helps to quickly find, analyze, and share information on a science, social science, arts, and humanities. Now many of our scholars and faculty members, and we got an idea, Web of Science, it's only for a science. No, it is there for a social science, science, arts, and humanities also. Okay, that is what this briefing is required. Now it gives integrated access to high quality literature. So you see here, it just has around 25,000 journals and 15,000 highest impact factor journals are available. Okay, now all the databases, they are including with the open access concept. It's a freely available journals also, which is included, high quality journals also indexed in this. For your kind information, open access journals also, which is a very good quality, those things it is included in this databases. That's the message. And it has around 159 millions of records. See here, huge collections are available. Journals, books, proceedings, 159 millions of records, and 40.3 millions of patents are available, 7.7 millions of data sets. It means your current research data also hosted into this. Okay, now this coverage will be there 1900, from 1900 to till date, which is available. Okay, from till date, which is available. Now this is the general coverage. I have told you indexed journals already. I have just explained Science Citation Index, and so now recently they are calling us Science Citation Index expanded. This expanded is, before they were just supplied the lot of the journals, it is in the DVD basis. So all that can be included in this. All that can be included. Okay. So science citation index expanded, and science citation, social science citation index, arts and humanities. See here, there are arts, 1,700 good journals are available in this. Sometimes we may say that no, sir, it is having only science. No, 1,700 journals which is available in the arts and humanities. So don't go by others' words, and please have a look into this. Now, very simple. We'll make it very fast. I have only the screenshots how to calculate for the H index of a particular institution. Because why I'm just taking this, how to calculate for a particular institution, department, and individual. So that we should know. Citation H index, how do we calculate it? So for that, I've just taken a screenshots of Web of Science, how to calculate it. So I think it's very slow. Now Web of Science homepage, I'm just showing that. Yeah. Now this is the Web of Science homepage. So once you just selected for the homepage, and you can just go to that discovery, the multiplicity content. So there you can just select for your university. For example, you want to select for university, Bharadasan University, to know total number of publications by that university. Just simple select on that affiliation. Now after affiliation, there will be a list. So now Bharadasan University automatically just comes, and then you can just select that university name, and yeah, hope it is visible for everyone. So where I've just selected is Bharadasan University. Yeah. So I'm just selecting Bharadasan University to know total number of publications by that university. Okay. Sometimes NAC, when they're asking like a total number of publications by that institute, and total number of publications by the department and individual. Okay. And plus it is by the number of citations H index also. So all that can be seen by this Web of Science. That's what I'm selecting, Bharadasan University. Now once it is just selected, and next that shows like immediately now total number of publications. See here, it says like immediately 5,457 publications which is done by Bharadasan University. Simply it just shows. Okay. Now one click, I could see the total number of publication. Now my answer 5 for that institution publication total is 5,457. Okay, fine. See here in the downstairs, you have an option with the article. Okay, the drought induced responses. This the article photosynthesis is by the particular author Vivekanandan. Okay, this shows like 1,121 times got cited. See here, first answer is total number of papers for university 5,457. Second is like, and what is the topmost article is cited by your Bharadasan University. Now this is the title, photosynthesis, and total number of citation is 1,121 citations, which is, and who's this? Sorry, who's that author is Vivekanandan Yam. Now all the answers I could get it in a single click, right? Now next is I wish to know what is that H index of my institution. Now go to the citation report, just click on it. Now immediately that shows 5,458 publications received, 57,000 times it got cited, and H index is 104. H index is 104. Now this is the answer to the NAC. Okay, total number of publication and the total number of citations and what it is received and total number of H index for institution. It is over. Okay, it is over. Now very simple, within 5 minutes I could give you the answer saying that for an institution how to check it, right? Now same logic it is there for a department. See, before that I have explained you as the total number of papers what we published, okay na, and total number of citations what we received, number of citations what we received for each paper. I have told you now sample is 6 was the paper and 6 times got cited. I have told you like where exactly it meets, it called the H index. So same logic I have just collected for 4,500 papers. Now slowly 1 2 3 4 it has just reached 104. It has reached 104. Now see, this 104th paper exactly received 106 citations it is received. 106 citations which is received. Okay. So hope it is visible for everyone. 104, I mean 104 paper received,
Yes, sir.
106 citations received. Okay. As I have told you, which is not meeting exactly 104, it is 1 or 2, it is in a higher side. Even then, my H index is calculated 104. So this is the way you can calculate. There are a lot of advantages of this citation databases. I can go to that. What are the department? What are the department is produced? Who is the topmost author? All that can be done. But here my highlight is only to show what is the H index, what are the total number of papers. So hope it is clear to everyone. Now we'll move on to that. Same with the department. So when somebody asks like, sir, Bharat University chemistry department, the NAC people when they visit, they're asking like chemistry department, what is your H index? So now I've just given an address is Bharat University, and again department of chemistry I've just given. I'll go for a search. Now immediately this shows like 1381 papers by the particular department. So when you are getting the results like this, your institution, your department, your faculty member, they're doing a wonderful research work, that all that research papers will be credit to your institution by the NAC or NRF. If nothing is coming, and we need to improve of our research. Nothing is coming means we need to improve our the research contributions towards that indexed journals. Then only we'll get for a citation H index all letters. So this is the way we can measure our impact for publications. Like, so hope it is clear to everyone. Now chemistry that says like 1382. Now I'll just go for a particular title, and 475 times got cited, and we'll go for a citation report. Now same logic, I have just wanted to tell you 1382 and 22,000 times got cited, and 63 is the H index. 63 is the H index. Now 63 at the 63rd paper exactly received for 63 citations. See, whatever I've just told you there on the PPT, immediately I've just gone to that original work. I have searched by the based on that database results. I'm just showing you. Okay, exactly. It matches 63. That third paper, it is received for 63 citations. Okay, so this is the way I can go for a department and then particular author. Author, when I just selected, same logic. 160, it is for a Mutaya, Thomas Mutaya author. So his paper is his topmost is 105 citations, and he has around 160 publications, and H index is 23. So now individual answer 23 H index is there, total number is there, and department there is the 63 is that the H index answer is there for 1300 papers, and university also it is there, 104 is the H index, 4500 papers are there. So when you have like this credits, 100% these papers will make a impact for your IQAC filling or your NAC or NRF or any other committee, any other the committee for recognizing of your department, all your recognizing of your course, everything. It just makes a sense. Like if you're not getting anything, so nothing will be there. So now you know that how you can just bring the impact of your paper, and how that impact can just give the credit to your institution. All you know that. Okay. So now Mutaya 23, this 24 times got cited. So this is the H index is 23. So all that the faculty members, we should get it like this. Okay. Otherwise, whatever we produced, which is not going to make any sense for our institution and then individual. Okay, fine. So same like Scopus. Now the Scopus also, it's a very, very larger. It is very larger than that Web of Science, very larger than the Web of Science. So here Scopus has it is by the Elsewhere product, and it has around 77 millions of records, 16 plus millions of authors profiles already there. It is 25,000 plus the impact factor journals with the 5,000 publishers. See that throughout the world, important publishers all that are producing their journals into the Scopus. So such a big the database of Elsewhere, there into the name of a Scopus. It costs you around 17 lakh per year. It is not affordable by the colleges. It is affordable by the universities. That too by the university by consortium of the government. We are getting it. Now it covers a scientific, technical, medical, and social sciences. All that it covers. Again, Sometimes you may say like, sir, Scopus, it is very specific for that the sciences. No, it also just covers for the social sciences. That's the message, right? Now Scopus homepage, which is there, same logic. I'm just selecting. So same H index, all it is same only, just for a screens. Okay, only I'm just sharing. I'm just selecting for that institution, and I can just type for that. So there it was an address. Here it will be as an affiliation. Here it will be as an affiliation. So now affiliation, I'm just selecting Bharathasan University. I'm selecting this. Now see here immediately this shows like, and after selecting the Bharathasan University, sorry, this shows 7,448 the articles are there. 7,448 articles are there. Whereas Web of Science, it was there as and 4,558, but here 7,000. It is very larger, I told you. So we have more than 2,000 articles than that Web of Science. Okay, yeah. So immediately this shows like a total number of the subject specific articles or all that can be measured. So now this is the sample by the subject specific publications, and chemistry, physics, and astronomy, all that it just shows with the total number of journals. Okay, total number of articles which is produced by the subject specific. So why it is? So simply as a vice chancellor or a registrar, we can sit and measure our department growth by contributions by the research publications. Like, okay, simply one place you can just sit. I'm sitting here, I can just measure Annamalai University, all that I can measure. Okay, so now this is the way you can measure for your impact of institutions. Like, yeah. Now same logic for a chemistry, 1,882 is there in this, whereas it was there 1,300 in Web of Science. So here it says like 1,882. Now H index is for 79, where it was there for a 63, here is a 79. So like that, both the database, it just gives with the H index, same logic only. You not to worry about why I'm showing this screenshots is many of the scholars and the faculty members, those who are working in the colleges, you might have not aware of this, and there is no possibility to see that the Scopus and Web of Science, how it looks. So now this is the way it looks, how you can just calculate it within 5 minutes. Okay, and your impact measure can be done within 5 minutes. So here Arthur Muthiah 195 is there. So his H index is 31, whereas it was in 23 in Web of Science. So here it is 31. So like this, my wish, every author, every scholar, you should understand that publication metrics and try to publish on that journals, which is most important for your specific subject, that to be indexed journal, then only you will get for citations. Okay, yes. Now next only two, we'll just try to finish within 10 minutes. Now Google Scholar, you are aware of it. Google Scholar has a H index and ITN index. There are the two which are freely available. They are also calculating for a H index for 5 years. Last 5 years, total number of the citations are divided by total number of publications. And ITN index, they are calculating for more than 10 times your article got cited. More than 10 times got cited. So this goes with that ITN index. And sample, I'm just showing you for a particular author. When you just create this Google Scholar, so that shows like what are the papers which is available and what are the papers which are published by you, which is available by online. Automatically it just indexes. Automatically it indexes. Okay. Now first is the K Balachandar sample I've just taken. He has around total citations 5,241. 5,241 he has citations. His H index is 34. His ITN index is 138. 130. It means 138 papers received more than 10 times citations. More than 10 times citations. Now this is the way it looks of your Google Scholar. Why I'm just taking this, many of the social science faculty members and scholars, and they are not getting for the citations by Web of Science and Scopus. Why? Because they have not published, or they could not publish any of that articles in the indexed journals. So we may have published for the normal journals which is available in online. So whatever you just published with the full text, automatically it just brings to the index that shows with the number of citations. At least you can keep ready of this for a better visibility of your research. Better visibility of your research. When you do this, when you go for any CAS committee, you can show that yes, I have a profile, I have my the papers are getting cited by my the fellow colleagues, all that can be shown, and your H index and the number of citations you can show. Okay, so this is with the message. Yeah, now profile, simple. Once you created, and it will be there for citations, and H index is 4, height index 3. Now I would like to show you H index 4 means the 4 time how it got cited, so that I'll show you. Now this screenshot, it says like make it public. So here make it public is whenever you create your profile, you should give for your official mail ID to have a better visible for outsiders, So if you're not making it, make it public, whatever you created, it won't be available for a public view. Okay, so make it public, that gives. Yeah. Next, I've told you like the H index is 4, height index is 3. Now H index 4 means 4 times. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. My fourth paper got 8 citations. Even then, the H index is only 4. So hope you understand. Same logic. Now item index, so that shows like more than 10 times got cited papers. So here it says like 3 is the item index. Now 10, 10, 15. Okay. So third paper received for a 10 times, second paper received 10 times, first paper received for a 15. So now fourth paper, it goes down for a 8. So 10 and above, it says like a 3. So my item index 3. So this is the logic. Now next one is for a Indian citation index. So very fast, we'll go for it, only screenshots. And Indian citation index recently started. It has started in 2009, and they have around 1,000 the titles, which is very, very specific for indexed of Indian journals. Very specific Indian journals. See, 2019 till 19, our NAC, they were asking like Web of Science, Scopus, and Indian citation index. But recent NAC form, which they are asking only Web of Science and Scopus. They have not even asked for a Indian citation. Instead of this, they are asking like listed by the CAR. Okay, you see CAR listed. So better you can index. I mean, you can just see to that what are the publications which are done in a CAR journals. You can put it into this, right? So now Indian citation index, which is especially for Indian journals, around 1,000 is there. This also deals with all the subject. Same logic which they are using for a science citation index, we told for a Web of Science. Same like they are just adding Indian science citation, Indian social science citation, like that. They're simply adding for the Indian. Okay, but it is not that successful for calculating for the H index and all. Yet to develop. Okay, just for a message. Yeah. Now this is the screenshots of Indian citation index. These also, which is available by cost, by subscription. Now 1 month trial they're giving. You can create your login and password. You can check what is available, the titles and everything. Okay, so some of you as an institution, you will have a publication. What you can do, you can just request them to index for your journals. At least if they have not indexed in Web of Science and Scopus, you can just write to them your paper, if it is a quality, your journal, if it is a quality, they may index in Indian citation index. You can request. Okay, that is possible. Now simply I've just tested. There are about 88 journals are available in social sciences. 88 all Indian journals which is available. All Indian journals which is available on this. Okay. Now this is about the Indian journals, and the last one is dimensions. So this is very, very recent. Dimensions. It is the very recent. I mean, many of that scholars and faculty members, they're not aware of it. Only our library science people, they made aware. And this is a very, very recent. It is going to come as the big way. So now this is by the digital science. Digital science. Now this says like 128 million publications. There we were seeing like only 77. This coming in the very larger way. It says like 128 million publications, which is coverage, and it has around 4 billion of users to connected with this. It's a very huge database. It's for scholars. It's coming with the very big way. Now, currently, one edition which they made it is free of cost. Dimensions free version is there. See why I'm just showing this. There are options. Number of databases are there to measure your product, to measure your publications. That's what it is. Now, Dimensions free version, which is available. You can just go browse it by typing and dimensions.ai. When you just type, you'll be getting for a free access of this. Now, simply, I would like to show the screenshots of this dimensions. Okay. Okay. Now, that shows like millions of articles. Okay. There I have given that Bharatidasan University. So Bharatidasan University, when I've just given, I could see the results around 12,000 plus. How much it is? That shows 12,000 plus. Now, we have just seen in Web of Science of 4,500. We have seen in a Scopus like 7,400. And we are just seeing in dimensions like a 12,000 plus. Okay. 12,000 plus. Bharatidasan University. Okay. I'm just selecting, I'm just showing this 12,178 publications which is available. See, you could get the point saying that it is very, very larger coverage than Web of Science and Scopus, right? It is coming in a very big way, right? Now, when we select this, it says like a 12,178, and immediately in a left side, you could see that 2020, 19, 18 total number of publications, you can see that, okay? Simple logic, immediately that shows for total number, and that shows for year-wise publication. Then see here, year-wise publication I have just given here, and 2020, 796, 2019, and 1,449, all that it is available by the year-wise. Year-wise it is available. Now I'm just showing only the options by measure your impact. So year-wise publication is possible. Then researchers, overall your researchers, your name of the authors of your institution, and total how many they have just produced. Say like an Muthuswamy Lakshmanan 300, and other person is Ramamurthy 197. All that you can just measure. Then field of research. Your field of research means whether the chemistry people 3,260 to 67 articles they have produced, and biological sciences 2,040. So like that, you can just have a visible of your field of research, your people, how much they have produced. Then publication type, whether it is an article 10,000, chapters, book chapters 1,000, all it is. And then source title. Really, I would like to know my university faculty members, what is the largest publication done in a particular journal. I can understand that Acta Crystallographica, this is the journal they have just published. Very simple, I can measure. So source also that gives. And then research category, what are the department and number of publication, number of citations, all will be there in the single screen. Then researchers, overall produced for the number of publications, citations, and finally highly cited publications, I can say. And yeah, and they also have different measures, field citation ratio, relative citation ratio, some measures which they have recently come up with this. And finally, I can just go with the altmetric score. I have told you, see here, this article says, and blogged by 11, tweeted by 104, Facebook by 2, and Wikipedia by 1. So like that, it shows with that, and social media concept, what you have referred. This is called the alt matrix. So with that, I can just conclude my presentation. I think we have just taken up, I'll stop my sharing it. So with that, I'll just conclude my presentation. I'll stop sharing of my screen, and if any of the query or something like we'll discuss. Yeah. Thank you so much for patient listening. And once again, I just take this opportunity to thank our coordinators, and very special Sailila ma'am and Pravina madam, those are just referred. And I also just take this opportunity to thank the entire team who has taken a much efforts to organizing this for a wonderful program for 14 days. Really, it is a long time, but wonderful the messages. I've just gone through all the titles. If you're not known these concepts, when you complete of your research, that won't give any a positive message. You have just completed of your research without knowing of all the concepts. When you just complete, there is no meaning in completing the research. So such a way, our organizers really, they've just given a wonderful title where all that the faculty members and then the scholars, they wanted to get a highlight. Really, they've taken efforts to organize in a well manner. I congratulations for the organizers for taking this effort and arranging for 14 days with so much of a painful. I know that conducting is a one-day program itself, it's very pain. And with the help of all that supportive the coordinators, they could conduct for 14 days. So I take this opportunity to thank everyone. Thank you so much. Now, any of the queries or clarifications, please, I'll ready to answer for your queries.
Participant ask your queries in chat box.
Yeah. Oh, you are asking them to ask by the chat box. Okay, fine. So I'll have a look into this.
Answer 1 or 2, sir.
Sure. What is the mandatory publication needed for a PhD? As per UGC norms, and 2 papers you have to publish in your PhD topic, sir. Okay, Maladi, Palani, something like. Okay. And what is the mandatory publications? Yeah, 2 people they have asked. I've just given an answer. I think many they have asked that query. And yeah, if the paper published in a journal which was there in Scopus in 2019, but in 2020, if the same journal is discontinued, will it be considered for the promotion and recruitment? And see, actually, there is a clash in a UGC saying that whatever which is removed, okay, whatever which is removed, once it is published, that can be taken to account for your promotion. 100% it is there. You not to worry about. 100%. I think this is asked by Amrish. Okay, so whatever you're just published, if it is not there right now, also that can be calculated for your promotion. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Yeah. Now, recently, many of the universities, they are restricting only the research section for accepting the thesis. Yeah. And then one of my articles selected for Saravana Priya, they have written one of the article got selected for a Brazilian Journal of Operations and Product Management. It is indexed in Web of Science. In that website, impact factor of a journal is not shown, whether the journal is valuable or worthy. See, I have told you, just click on that location. Okay, I have told you already very clearly how that predatory they're making it. So original journal title and ISSN number, they're copying and duplicating, the making is the different site. Okay, you make sure that, and whether you're published in the original or a predatory site. Madam, you have just given that, so hope it is clear to you. I have taken a sample, slightly they're just changing the color. Yeah, if somebody is trying to open that audio. Yeah, so
Sir,
yes,
hope
sir.
your lecture is as usual with the usual spirit.
Yeah.
Hope all the participants have enjoyed your inspiring, motivational, and very informative lecture.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Really, it is an eye-opening session to the research scholars, faculty members, to know how and where to publish quality publications in quality journals.
Yes, sir.
Further, your explanations about impact factor, indexed and non-indexed journals, UGC care list journals, databases, everything is very informative one, sir. On behalf of the participant, IQAC, and my own behalf, I thank you for sparing your valuable time with us. We will meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. I thank you all the participants for patient listening and for interaction questions also. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Jai Prakash, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice comments you are receiving in the chat box regarding your presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
We are happy, sir, to have you with us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you tomorrow also.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So I'll take a leave.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Saila, madam.
Harindranath, sir. Good evening, sir. Hari, sir. Good evening, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Pravina, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, participants. Today is an associate professor from EC Institute of Management, Chennai. On behalf of IQAC, I welcome you, sir. A brief introduction to sir. He is a combination of both corporate and academic expertise. He is a management expert in the field of marketing research, marketing analytics, sales, and distribution management. 8 of his articles has been published in Scopus-based journal. He has served as resource person in 26 conferences and seminars. He is a data analyst expert and is doing consultancy project for many corporates like Sanya Tours and Travels, Madrid, Saudi Arabia, Navis Capital. He has developed 2 courses, business statistics using SPSS and marketing management. He is proficient in multivariate statistics, exploratory and confirmatory factor analysis, multiple regression, structural equation modeling, polynomial regression, multi-group analysis. Today, Sir will be dealing with mediation analysis. On behalf of IQAC and my own behalf, I welcome you, sir, for this session. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and being with us. Hope you'll have a wonderful experience. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much. Now, I think all the participants has to jump from one compartment to the other. I think they will do it smoothly. Because this is about data analysis, and the one you just heard about is a publication metrics. I think what I suggest you, you don't have to ask me at the end of the session. Rather, I prefer to ask questions or any clarification no, as and when you have. So don't postpone your thought. Just ask. Don't keep it at the end. You can ask me, as and when you want. Right? Okay. Now I think I don't want to jump into mediation. I think I was just talking to Sailila, Professor Sailila, and I thought jumping into mediation will be very difficult for many of them, because I know some of them are well versed and many of them will be not well versed, and it's a very heterogeneous crowd. Right? So I just have to carry you along with my presentation. Irrespective of your background, you may be a kind of a background which is a somebody hate this data and data analytics techniques, statistics. So I want you carry all of you along with my journey of this for 1 hour and plus. Right now. I think what I'll do now is I'll share my screen. I hope I can. Hope you have given me the host to share. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So I am very familiar about, not very familiar. I'm little familiar about quantitative data analysis. Right? But I prefer. So that is how it all happened. Right? So, yeah. So this is something I prefer. So I was doing a lot of data analysis for my research, for my PhD, and some consultancy work as well. Right. So I just want to carry kind of minimum information. And what are all the essentials? Also, it's only minimum. It gives you all the vital information required for you to do the data analysis. Now, this is the agenda I have. So I want me to talk on methods. So widely a method, the method sections. Okay. So I'm going to deal with empirical research work. So I am only going into one portion of method, and that portion is called as empirical. Right. But remember, having said that, do not think that empirical means you have to collect primary data from the respondent or from secondary data from any of the other sources. You don't think only that. There is something beyond. So what is beyond is you can even take a text analytics and convert those text into some form of numbers, and you can do some multivariate statistics as well. So do not think only it is I have to collect data, then only it's not necessary. There are papers I have seen in top journals which I have published converting the qualitative research or I call them as a text data into a quantitative number, right? Into a quantitative number, right? Okay. So this is the agenda. So primarily I'll be talking about different methods. So having said that, very popular among us is a cross-sectional method. So I think I'll also open one more Word document. So I think this is meant for Annamalai University. So I'll also, whatever I'm not available in my PPT, I thought I will shift my screen and tell you this, right? So very popular, widely used is what is called as cross-sectional study. So widely used. Okay. So you go cross-sectional research design. So let me start with research, data analysis in general. Then I'll go to mediation. I'm coming here for 3 sessions. So this is the first one. Right. So very common among them is a cross-sectional. Yes. You can also. I think Subhashini Raman, you're perfectly right. Yeah. You can think of correlational research as well. Yeah. But we don't do much now because not many big papers are accepting the correlational studies, right? And maybe I think they may take the paper unless until if the contributions are very significant. If the contributions are very significant, I think you can consider. Otherwise, they don't look for correlational research in a big paper, but rather they prefer to have causal research, right? So they prefer to have. So this is very important now. I think what I understand in social science, I don't know how many different domains of you are, I don't know. So that's why I confine in stating that social science research, in India, so in the bracket in India, which is very, I see many cross-sectional studies. Many studies are cross-sectional. So in our place, I think we prefer, we use what is called as many cross-sectional studies, right? But you remember, I also want to tell you that it could be easy for you to create a cross-sectional studies, many cross-sectional studies. Okay, we'll see many cross-sectional studies. But again, if I am performing a cross-sectional study, many of the top-tier journals, I don't know what is a top-tier journal, but I will tell you different domain have been mentioned different way. So what in management says, which is I am from management background, we says ABDC list, right? So ABDC list, we say A star is a top tier journal. So it varies from domain to domain. So I may not be able to say which domain, which one. I can generally say that in a top tier journal, cross-sectional studies are not really they don't like the cross-sectional study, right? Now, what is the reason why they don't like the cross-sectional study? The one reason is, so I think somebody was talking to me on correlational research just now, I think Rohini. I'm telling you, if you want to establish causality, okay, not casualty, I'm sorry, causality, okay, causality, then I need to go for either cross-sectional study, or I can think of longitudinal study, yeah, longitudinal research, or longitudinal research design, or the ever gold standard research, what we call the main social science is experimental research. So I think so I don't have to tell you experimental. So if you ask me a choice among this the 3 which I just put it, the best is the experimental research. So that's what I want to say. If somebody has a method, which is of experimental design or a quasi or a natural or a different form of experimental design, then what is then if that is the case, the causal explanation by the author is accepted. Okay. I think there is some chat. I hope it's up now. Oh, okay. Right. So thank you. Right. So if you want to establish that causal explanation, what is a causal explanation? Yeah, the causal explanation is very simple. It says that how x variable influences y. So okay, why one variable, or in general, if you don't like those x and y, okay, then you can say that one variable, how a one variable influences the other variable, or the dependent variable, right? Or the variable of interest, or the key variable, or pivotal variable, whatever you call them, right? So that is, if you want your causal explanation to be perfect with no hesitancy, then you have to follow what is called as the experimental research design. There are quite many forms of experimental research design. Okay, that is still the gold. Now things are changed. So if I say only this, then I'm teaching to you as old concept. Now people have said that even machine language or considered to be a machine language algorithm, and using machine language and an algorithm, and that becomes a kind of research design. So that's now, this is all recent. It's all recent. So you need to think of machine language algorithm is a kind of research design now, right? It's a kind of research design now. So the multiple way you can think of now. So what we do, we'll take a large data, and then we try to identify the hidden pattern. Any pattern is available inside the data using some algorithm that's called machine algorithm, right? No. Okay, so the key point I want to tell you all here in this discussion is cross-sectional slowly coming to a kind of end. How I say that? I say that because the cross-sectional studies are slowly, many of the top journals neglect. They don't want, they go for a desk rejection. They do a desk rejection. So if you want to pitch your research at a higher level, I request you to avoid or cross-sectional studies. Then the best preferred way is what is called as experimental design. Okay. You can even think of longitudinal design as well. The only problem is it takes some time, because you need to collect from 3 different time points from the same respondent. So it does become practically slightly difficult. So if you have an option, and if you run multiple projects, then you can think of one or few in that projects list of projects of running a longitudinal research design, right? So I have a chat message. I see how valuable it is. Okay, maturation. Yeah, all this are important. Maturation, bias. Yeah, all this is important. So, so when I talk about method, so I thought I should spell out the various way it is important. So if somebody already on the cross-sectional studies, yes, you publish it as soon as possible in a suitable counter. But remember, if you want to pitch in at a higher level, remember experimental designs are the best ways, right? Now, having said that, I might have an audience looking for something new. All this are some people know, some people may not know. Some people may not know. So what I want to say is now we collect data now, many different sources, or not just going to the respondent by the researcher or a team of people. Now we have something called Amazon, for example, Amazon mechanical Turk. So this is the Amazon service. It's a service from Amazon. So Amazon has got a mechanical truck where you can put your questions or the Google form, then you can collect the responses. This is something new. Okay, no sir, new to field of research. Yes. No, I don't understand, Sri. What is that you're talking? New to field of research. I don't know what is that. Please explain. Right. Now this is something. No, Amazon mechanical truck is something new. At least I think for us. It is there for a very long time. I don't know. I think to my knowledge it could be 6-7 years or 10 years. But this is one way of collecting data is Amazon Mechanical Turk. Okay, so what is this? This is because Amazon by its services, by selling so many things, they have a huge customer base, or now it's not customer. I can call them as a respondent base. So you tell them a particular IT employee, for example, that could be 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 IT employees, right? So any specific audience you want, or any specific respondent you want, Amazon possibly can have. If you want to put your questionnaire to a scientist, for example, yeah, there could be a list of scientists available for you to answer, right? So the huge respondent base becomes huge, not just huge, it's heterogeneous as well. Particularly more so for people who do on social science, a very heterogeneous crowd available in this, right? So what is this called? These are called. If you ask me to give a heading to this, these are called as crowdsourcing. Just go to crowdsourcing and you can do it. Okay, this comes under Amazon Mechanical Turk, comes under crowdsourcing. There are many. There are many like this. Not just Amazon. I think Prolific is one who does this crowdsourcing, and there's a crowdsourcing platform. You can put your questions inside, and then you can collect the responses. Right. So Prolific is another such services like Amazon Mechanical Turk. But I also want to tell you there are certain things you should understand, that if you want to use data, if you want to extract data from these sources. So this is, for example, Prolific is expensive when compared with Amazon Mechanical Turk, right? Okay, and but available for India. Okay, it's available for Indians. So the service is available for Indians. Okay, so I have a reason to say this because it may be quite new for many of us. But Amazon Mechanical Turk is not available for India. So not available for India. Okay. Okay. Now I have collected some data very recently. I'll tell you my experience of collecting through Amazon. I would have collected a few times. I'll tell you one time, one particular project. We put a questionnaire, could be somewhere around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We collected around 300 responses around 4 o'clock or 4:30 in the evening. So that question was very, very general. So anybody can answer that. It's something on food, organic food. So we immediately got so much of responses in a very short time. I don't know whether anywhere I can get so much of responses in a very short time. 400, 500 in a couple of hours. Okay, couple of hours. Now, but unfortunately, I heard that it was available in India. I don't know, but I only heard it was available in India. And I think I heard that since we don't use it, ghost responses. Yeah, that's an issue with Amazon. Correct. There's a ghost responses. Yeah, I'll tell you how to deal with that. All right. So we have misused it, and now it is not available for Indians. Okay. So how we manage, since the services is not available for us, I manage, and some of my friends manage. How means we will have some people who are living in UK, for example, USA, for example, Singapore, for example, Middle East, for example. So if you have some people there, we'll try to contact them, and through them we will try to collect the data, right? Yeah. But there are issues. There are issues of, say, of what quality of data. I think somebody just put in the chat box, ghost responses, like Subhashini. Yeah, this is an issue. But remember, on the other hand, many of the top journals, to my knowledge in management, have started accepting, many journals are accepting now the Amazon Mechanical Turk data. So it's slowly becoming common, slightly common. Right? Now there are, if at all, if you're a reviewer, if you know that particular your particular journal you're targeting, is not very interested in Amazon Mechanical Turk, data or Amazon truck data, the M truck data, we call them as M truck. Then you can do one option. You can do two studies, one from Amazon, which you can do it just like that. The other is you can also do another study where you can do by the conventional method, you can collect data as a primary data. So this is how you can think of doing two studies and make your rigor, your method rigor quite evident, and then say that these relationships are much available, and that is in both the data it is found. That's how you can manage, right? But remember, in research, it is always nothing is perfect. You only have to have some kind of via media, and then you need to push and publish the paper, right? No perfect thing. Somebody say this is not good. Some reviewer accept it. Some journal will not accept it, and so on. For example, take the case of PLSN, for example. I remember it was much, many paper using partial least square sum is not been accepted. Now people slowly started accepting the partial least square, at least in marketing domain. In HR domain is slightly less, and so on. So these issues are there. And certain things are not accepted in certain domain, and so on. Okay, right. Now these are called as crowdsourcing. So you can collect comfortably crowdsourcing. That's a benefit. The benefit is you can collect your data at a faster rate, right? No, somebody said it's a ghost data. That's a very valid point. I thanks for watching. It's a ghost data, yeah. But what we do is we will put some filter in avoiding the ghost data. So what we will do, put some filter. So what is this? The sense. So for example, if I want to have Indian IT company employees, for example, IT employees of Indian origin or Indians are not Indian origin, Indian companies, then I will put two filters. The first filter is going to be the first filter is going to be Indian, and then you have plus the second is going to be the IT employees. So maybe to an extent, I can say that this particular filter, if you know how to put the filter properly, then it will be very easy for you to easy for you to at least remove some ghost data and other things, right? Even if you have that, you can do it as an outlier. So to do a multivariate outlier, you have a multivariate outlier using what is called as, you take a Mahanapolis distance, Mahanapolis distance, and then remove it. Okay, so this is where you can remove certain unwanted data. So in a method section, removal of outlier is also one small compartment, very small compartment. Okay, so there will be a lot of outliers, and then the various forms of outliers, and those outliers you have to remove, right? One way, I think, instead of doing a univariate, I would rather ask you to do a multivariate removal of outlier. Okay, outlier removal. So that could be using what is called as Mahanapolis distance. Right? What it does, it has a centroid. The algorithm is like that. The concept is like that. It has a centroid. So whatever close to the centroid is not an outlier. Whatever far away from the centroid is an outlier. You calculate using the distance formula, using Mahanapolis distance, and then those outliers which are far away from the centroid are removed. So that is the concept of a multivariate outlier. So that is one way we do Mahanapolis distance and then remove the outlier, right? So regarding how this Amazon mechanical correction, remember all this is a paid service. Remember, so you can't get free, right? It's a very paid services. Now, so what is it? How much you can pay? Yeah, I think depend upon maybe possibly you can fix it as a researcher based on the number of questions. Okay. So, for example, if you have 30 questions that you can go for, say, for example, is very hypothetical. I can go for 0.3 US dollars, 0.3 US for each respondent. Okay, for each respondent. For every respondent who targets, respondent, you pay like this amount. Each respondent you pay $0.3. Okay, plus there is a Amazon itself collect kind of service charge, Amazon service charge, service charge. Okay, Amazon collect not just the respondent money alone. You can't say 300 into 0.3. It is not possible because Amazon by itself will collect an additional charge, right? Okay, so what is that? It will be, for example, if you want to give, say, for example, you 300 into 100, say somewhere around, say, I assume that you give them $100 for respondent. You have to pay approximately, I don't know, at least I feel that approximately you have to pay $100 for Amazon for the services, right? I have a chat. I just take the chat. Yeah. Okay. So question, yeah, I'll answer that. How to decide population and sample? Yeah. That question is that I'll answer, right? So okay. So 100. If you pay $100 for a respondent, split them into 0.3 or into so many dollars, and you give them $0.3 per person or per respondent, and then $100 you have to pay for Amazon for the charges, service charges for the Amazon. Remember the other things which is very important to know that you need to pay in advance. You can't give them then and there. For example, if you're planning for, say, 500 sample, 500 into 0.3 plus additional charges, if you just tell them 500 respondent I want, and I want to pay 0.3, every other calculation Amazon does. But why I'm telling all these things, be ready. I know our researchers are quite poor. Many of them sitting here in front of me may not have a kind of the funding from the college and so on. So you will be very careful because you spend the money and wisely so that everything goes on well. So you have to pay in advance. Pay them in advance, right? Now you have to say I want, say, 500 data. Then you have to say that even you have to see there will be a kind of you can see some they'll give you what is the number of respondent they used your questionnaire and how much has been paid by Amazon, how much is left out in your account. All these details are dynamic. You can then and there you can see. If for example, if you're depositing, say, $300 in Amazon for data collection, then remember that you have to slowly cut down, slowly you have to watch your monitor. If it should not exceed 300, if it exceeds, it will be very difficult to answer Amazon. Okay, so what you do if 295, for example, you already paid 300. If 295 or 297 comes, close the procedure and see that data is enough. Then okay. But remember, when you pay, I want to say that you can only pay in PayPal or credit card, the only option. So prepare. Don't run around. Prepare this also. Right. Now, then I think one more thing I forgot to tell you about filter. The filter is, for example, you cannot collect just like the data. The reviewer will ask you what kind of demographic profile they have. Are they from which country? So when you put a country as a filter, then you are having one filter. If you want to say one particular country, for example, you have a respondent of a food which common or some of the consumer products, okay, like biscuits or brand of biscuits or something like that, generic biscuits. Then you get a lot of respondents. You can get 1,000 respondents in one day, right? So it's such an easy one. And if you add a filter, I understand the number of respondents you are reducing, Again, that's required for a study. Yeah? That's required for a study. I'm not saying it's not required. So the more the filter you put, you can put 2 or 3, not beyond that. More in the sense, don't think of 5, 10. Maybe 2 or 3. The filter you put, the number of respondents answering the questions or participating in the survey would be less. If you have very generic question, then you can get data just like that. You can even reduce your price as well. Right? I think I have a chat message. Let me take out the chat message. No, I don't understand this. RMDA 630, right? I don't understand. Okay. Now, the people have asked me how sample, how population, how. No, see, I'm not here to generalize. So if I want to generalize, then possibly I need to do population sample, right? So if I do a consultancy project, it's quite possible that I need to have a sample population, and then I need to worry about it. In a journal research or in general research activity, what we do, I think, what we do is we are testing a theory, and we see whether the theory and the data goes well, or the theory and the data are compatible. So I'm just testing a theoretical notion. I'm not generalizing anything. So I think the sample population, I think somebody asked me in the chat box, are more relevant for journal articles. Could be, yes, very relevant for a management consultancy. If you do a management consultancy, and if you want to generalize, so that's a very key word. If you want to generalize the sample and then inferring the population by the results of the sample, then I think the sample population issues will come. But in a research article, it will be more of testing the hypothesis, and whether we say whether the hypothesis is accepted or rejected. So rather than put it very general, I'm just testing a theoretical proposition, whether it is coming through or not. So this is something I thought I just want to share you, because I think this is very important for you to understand. Things are slowly changing the way we collect data. We don't have to depend on collection. And then I have some personal experience. I think in social science data or some of the other forms of data, I think nowadays are not very far that we need to pay our respondent, even if somebody is your friend, right? Or some of relative or close friends, whatever it is. I think what I understand is data. I don't want to have a chunk of data. I don't want to have a poor quality of data. What I want is a rich, good data. I think researchers here sitting and asking me what is good and what is not good. So what is good, I tell you, to my understanding, is that a good data is one where the respondent read the questions and possibly understood the question, and then answering the response format, picking the response format. If that is good, if that happens, if you read the question and then answering the response, then it's fine. Right? So this is if you collect like that, I think the error you have in the questionnaire is not much, right? Okay. When you collect data, I think there are errors. Okay. I will tell you, all of you, you cannot collect data. You cannot collect data without error. So errors are inevitable. So please understand, it's a part of it. Errors are inevitable. You have the inevitable, right? Okay. Right. So when you collect data, knowingly or unknowingly, you collect error. Okay. So data is very important. If I want to run a SEM multiple preparation, data are very important. So we take utmost care in having good quality. Remember, it's not the number of data, the number of respondents in the study is not very important. I would say rather 300 good respondent is good enough for a study. So do not think that more means better. Maybe I think the error may be average out. That could be one particular possibility. If I have more samples of more respondent in my studies, possibly whatever error I have, that average out, in a sense, that average, because of the more number of respondents, the average drastically goes down. So the one benefit you have, but not necessarily always think of higher number of samples. It is not possible to get, and don't think that higher samples are must. You can have a 300, 350 samples and complete your study, right? But again, remember, when you take a questionnaire and go to anybody else, or when you ask your students or research scholar to design any questionnaire, remember, howsoever good they are, howsoever good kind of instrument they develop, they collect error along with that. So error are inevitable, scholars. Errors are inevitable. Then you can ask me what to do, sir. Yeah, I think the one you can think of, yeah, you can control the errors. Remember that you can control the errors. You can control the errors. Yeah. So how to do that? So controlling the errors is important. Any research, including experimental design data, all data you collected, they have some form or the other form of error. So I can only control. I cannot say that the error in my research is 0. It's impossible. So I have some form of error, right? Now, the other thing I want to tell you, in a questionnaire, there are 2 forms of error. If you know why, what, all these things, I think you can be able to reduce that. That's why I'm telling you all this. Some of you, I know that there is something called systematic error, I think. Then there is something called there's something called random error. So these are 2 forms of error, right? Two forms of measurement error. Now I'll also take you, I think I want to tell you one by name. Now I'll just take you to a book. Just have a look at this book. He's an Indian. He stays in Chennai, but he stays in the sense he belongs, not stays in Chennai. He comes and goes, but he's in American University. See the book he has. So remember, students, this is a big book around, I think, should be 300 pages. Measurement, error, and research design. So you capture a lot of error in your data collection process. So remember, what you can think of, you can only think of controlling them, okay, or reducing to an extent. You can't do anything much beyond that. So I cannot say I have a data, I know all these things. So I cannot say I have collected data which is full of errors, so which is no error, which is completely perfect data. So it is not possible. So you can think of any measurement you have, it has some form of error creeping inside the data. So you collect not just data, you also collect, along with the data, you also collect some form of error. Okay. So if you have time, let's go through at least the social science. Think of Madhu Vishnu's book on measurement error and research. Anything you measure, it could be a height or a weight. There is some form of measurement error comes inside. Right? I hope I'm going the track. If you want any change, I'm flexible and I can feed I can play according to your tune. It's nothing. I have no issues. Ultimately, you come spending a lot of time. I want your time to be very valuable. I want to give something new, which not many knows. Okay. Now, so when you put a questionnaire, So there are two forms of error comes. Two forms of error creeps in, right? Wow. Measurement error and the systematic error. There's two forms of error. I think this year systematic error I can reduce to an extent if I do all these things. Primarily, if I understand, or if I do the content validity of the questionnaire, then I can reduce to a very large extent. Okay, very large extent I can reduce systematic error. Systematic error, to me, according to me, is in control. Is in control with the researcher. To a large extent, is in control with us. So with us, researcher. With us means us. We can control to a large extent. So what I'm asking all of them, if at all you prepare a questionnaire, and if you happen to prepare a questionnaire, ask or request or perform what is called as content validity. It's a kind of validity you need to carry through in order to remove this form of error. Okay, any questionnaire you have. Okay, not necessarily management. Any questionnaire in education domain, it could be in sociology domain. Any questionnaire you prepare, you ask them. You give an expert. You give to an expert, then ask them to do. So what is it you do? You ask. Give to say 5 experts, and 5 experts. You ask, give to 5 experts of your domain, okay, of your domain, okay. 5 experts, and ask them to read, and ask them to kind of review them whether they understand. Okay, so what they should do after this process is over, if you completed the content validity, your questionnaires could be free from ambiguous questions. So this is a one is very dangerous. Ambiguous questions. Okay? If any questions or any one or many, this is something very dangerous. Very ambiguous questions. These are the one throws maximum. These are the one throws maximum error inside. So if I able to do a content validity, remove these questions, which gives a different meaning to different respondent, and possibly this is lead to a systematic error, then I need to remove it. The one way is, before giving the questionnaire out or before administering the questionnaire, do a content validity, right? Do a content validity. So what you said you do, you send a mail to 5 people identified, note them what they are, what is the experience, and then you send these questions to the questionnaire to them and ask them to review properly and say, is there anything you find ambiguous, right? Or along with this content validity, if you are shrewd enough, if you want to make your research much more rigor, then you can also think of phase validity. Yeah? Remember this. Those are slow close, but it has some difference. Is there any phase validity in the sense you ask the expert, is there any questions I missed out? Is there any questions I missed out? So then it's a phase validity and content. So ask them to do both, or ask them to do, or you can give 5 for content validity, separate expert, 5 different for phase validity. That is also possible. Again, remember, all these things are, telling me is easy, but doing and finding a proper expert, 5 people, is not that easy, because a lot of issues are there. You don't send them, they don't lift the mail. A lot of practical issues and delay as well, right? So if you can if you want to remove data error, remember, spend time. And that is why we have read that research is a very systematic procedure. So don't jump, which means do not jump to next step of collecting data without doing a content validity, right? Without doing a content validity. Yes. I will also come to that concept validity. Thank you, Subhashini. Yeah, right. So this is all very relevant to questionnaire during data collection method. So I'm just doing data collection. I may talk to you on construct validity, maybe possibly tomorrow, day after tomorrow, after collecting data. All these are, I'm cautioning you to collect data in a better way so that analysis becomes very easy. If you collect the junk data, for example, analysis becomes very difficult. You don't get the way you want. So be careful in collecting data. This is the first important step. Do not ignore this step. Do not give him to a third party who does not know research. Give it to a person, if at all you cannot go, give it to a person who understand the nuances of research. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to. Yeah. Okay. So this is something you need to address, what I call them as systematic error. And I'll tell you, you cannot avoid totally. Some form of error will creep in, but only you can control or minimize, right? Now, let me go to the next error. Let me go to the next error. I call this as a random error, very random error. Okay, random error. So I think systematic error I have a control, but random error I don't have much control. Random error I don't have control much. To an extent I can control. For example, all these are my practical. I don't read anything from the book. I understand by doing research. All these things, what I say is random error, is error. It's quite possible to create it in some situations. For example, now we have the pressure of completing the research, completing the PhD, completing the manuscript sooner. So that pressure is in our mind, is lingering in our mind, and then we want to complete the research fast. So that way, what we will do, we'll ask all the respondents, you fill it. Even if the respondent says that, no, I have to go to a movie or I have to have some personal work, my mother is not sick, you don't listen to them because you are on your target. Okay. Now think, somebody who fought with his wife or the other way, how we can consider the questions, read the questions thoroughly, and then answer. So what happened is, if you force the respondent, that you have to fill it up, then this is force the respondent. This is one area I find many people in our place get into what is called as the random error. Right? So some people, they will not say no, but they rather fill it up all junk data and give it to you. You remember some of the questioners, if you give them a 1, 2, 3 point, 1 to 5, first question they will fill it up 1, and second question they will fill it up 2, and third question fill it up 3, and fourth question 4, fifth question 5. And then what they'll do again? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it goes like zigzag. This also we have seen in our experience. You may wonder what to do with this kind of data, whether I can keep or I need to throw away. I will tell you, if such kind of data, I will tell you, throw away this data. Okay? Immediately remove from your set of respondents. You throw it up. Take out from the file, and if it is a hard copy, take out from the file and throw it up. Yes, sir, I have around 10, 15 such. What shall I do? If I take that 10, 15 and my total is 300 and it will come to 285. That could be one argument from you. Yes, you are right. The number has reduced. The number has reduced from 300 to 285. But remember, if you put this 15, such half-full data, such 15 respondent data, remember that the entire 300 data become contaminated. So my wise way of doing thing is, even though it is reduce the number of respondents, remove them off. Throw away this respondent so that your data quality gets better. So the throw away because of data quality becoming better. Better data quality. I want a better data, right? So these are errors. Right? Now there are other ways also. For example, if I want to collect from an office, say I want to collect from an office, so I want to go to corporate people. Say I go there at say 4:45. Say I go to 4:45. Sorry, 4:45. I go there at 4:45. Yeah? 4:45 p.m. And you remember the office closes Remember, the office closes maybe 5 or 5:30. 5:30, 5. It closes at 5 p.m. So I'm there at 4:45 with a bunch of questions. I go there at 4:45. I thought no, I don't want to disturb them. So I'm nice. I'm a nice researcher. I'm a nice person in overall. And then I thought, why should I disturb them during the course of the office? At the fag end, no, I can catch them and collect data. Remember, that is the time your respondents are very tired. Remember, that is the time your respondents are. They are not fresh, right? So ideally, I think you have to be very assertive here, and you have to get that morning, in the sense that this is not literally morning. In the sense, the idea is the respondents are very fresh, so the data quality will become better and better if I give them. Okay, right. If they say that I cannot do it today, you say thank you. We'll catch you after some time, or tomorrow, or some days, or give them. You fill it up, give them the cover with a prefix stamp and give it to them once you complete to put it, or a courier charges, whatever it is. That could be better instead of forcing somebody and taking the data. So all these are methods, or the way, very practical. Under, I think it has got some name like systematic error and error. But remember, all these are very practical. And if you are in that, in the shoes of a respondent, you will also react this way. So keep in mind that when you collect data, you don't just collect data, you also collect some form of error. The only thing, error should be of a meaningful level, not too much, then it will be a problem. Right? Now remember, there's other things in the error I forgot to tell you is common method bias. I don't know how many of you heard of this. So if you do a cross-sectional study, the reviewer and the editor, reviewer in the sense both reviewers want to know how you deal with the common method bias, how you are going to deal, how you are dealt in the paper on this method. Okay, this is more. All these things happen because I collect data. Okay, all these things happen because I collect data. This is a method. I have a method in collecting data. For example, I administer the questionnaire using pencil and paper approach. In the sense, I hand over them the questions in a paper. Along with it, I give them a pen or paper or a pencil. So any method I follow, that method has some kind of error. Okay, and that particular error is called as common method bias. So it's a method bias. Right? So any method I follow, I have an associated bias. So I need to know, the reviewer and the editor will ask how you are going to manage that. And you cannot say that my data is not having any method bias. You can't say that, right? It's not possible. It is not possible. So there is a method bias available when you collect data using a specific method. It could be experimental, or it could be a questionnaire type or a cross-sectional. Any method you have, there is a method bias. So what is it method bias says? Method bias says that there is a common variance out of this method. There's a common variance emerges in your data. Okay, it does not emerges. What is it? It says it's a common variance. It is nothing to do with any of the variable you have collected. It is nothing to do with this particular variance. Okay, it's nothing to do with any of the variables you have in the questionnaire. It is something beyond. It is common. It is common for the entire questionnaire. So that is what is called as a common variance. The common variance emerges inside the data. So this particular variance is there. Okay. So one way of doing it, there are some papers I know that it has a common method bias issue, and then they managed. How they managed? No, I can take away the common. I can take away. Oh, I can take away the. I can take away the common variance or correlation. I can call them this common correlation or variance. This I can remove it. I can remove or remove from the data. I need to extract from the data, then I can deal with it. So this is one way of dealing with the common method bias. So remember, don't worry about the jargon. Forget about the jargon. Whatever method you adopt, there is some form of bias of the method. That particular bias comes as a variance or a correlation. Both are very, very close to one another, and they come inside. For example, if the study correlation is 0.6, you get into 0.7 or 0.8, and this point, the difference of 0.2 correlation, it could be because of the common method bias. So that you need to remove it and then run the analysis. This is something you should know before going to big papers. Okay, this they will ask you. Now I have to tell you something similar, but do not confuse. There is something called endogeneity is also an issue you need to address. Okay, is an issue you need to address when you collect data. Okay, it's an issue you need to address. Remember, without that, big papers. I'm not talking to all A and A star paper. Without this, some paper at a lower level will accept it. So I'm not saying, I'm just raising your bar. Those researchers can able to come to that level, fine. If others can publish at level, nothing wrong. You can. There are papers. There are decent papers will take you the work. Don't worry about it. Do not go into what is called the predatory journals. Right? So that is not wise. Maybe you can do it, and then you can think of those things in the forthcoming research project or in the forthcoming research project. Okay. So endogeneity is an issue you need to address. Remember. So if I'm not dealing that, but I'm just putting a seed in your mind. Those things are available when you collect data and do the analysis. Collect data does not mean anything. It could be any domain you collect data. These are all very generic I discussed so that most people get benefited who are handling and who are collecting data from respondent, right? So endogeneity is an issue that you need to address that. And you should write very clearly how you are tackling the issue of endogeneity in your research, so that your publication standard goes up, your manuscript standard goes quite high. Right. This is all about. I think there is some. No. I think this RMD or this attendance. I don't know. Okay. So endogeneity is issue. Right. Right. Now I'll keep this here, this Word document. If somebody want it, I'll give you. Right. I have wrote in a way like a chalk and board talk. I thought whatever I got points in my flow, I thought I flashed this. Yeah. I have a PPT to you. I will share this PPT also, and then we'll discuss something on. Okay. So I have not even introduced me. I think thanks to the coordinators here that they introduced me. I work for in management B school called Mias Institute of Management in Chennai. So I'm taking care of research there, primarily research, publications and other things, right? So now this is where we struck. This is the headache starts. I'll tell you the headache is in what way it's really a big headache. Yeah, I'll tell you it's a big headache in the sense I build theory over a period of time. Okay, maybe in my 4-year research, I would have spent 2.5 years out of 4 years in theory building. So this is something like designing my my research, building theories, right? I have I think I have some 30 to 40% of the time out of 4 years. It could be 1.5 years or less. I want to test theories, so I need to have that particular. Look at my finger, just like this, both together, data and theory together, compatible. So that is where we all struck. Very important place, because I want to know, I'll be very eager at this point of time, testing this theory with data. Because I want to know whether whatever theory I've developed over a couple of years, 2.5 years, whether it is coming through or not through. So I think I have stomach full of butterflies. Whether my data and the theory goes well or is there anything wrong. Even though I would have taken step by step, very carefully if I done still, even if I'm a very good researcher and doing a PhD and then time consumption, journal publication and so on. And in such places, really is very worrisome point is that whether my data after collecting and the theory I have is really compatible or not compatible. That's the question. Remember, if you are a very seasoned researcher, a very prolific author, then those things are very less for you. If already you published a lot of articles, you know what is that, you understand the nuances, then you know what is that, then it is easy. But for a novice researcher who are aiming to complete a PhD and get a job, I think this point is very critical, very, very critical. And this point is also very crucial for them in the career. Also, right? No, this is all there in the book. It's there in the book that this happens and very difficult and other things. But what I want to tell you is, whatever model theory you build, over a period of time, then after collecting data, I think many a times it is not possible. You will see that incompetent. You see many times you see incompetent. Your data is not giving that particular space to prove your theory. So this is an issue. This is an issue. Then what we have to do if you're not able to if you're not able to estimate the model successfully what you build over 2.5 years, I'll tell you the data will have some surprises. The data will have some surprises. So you should have a mind, an open mind, and not necessarily your model. You must have 2-3 alternate models for the data and be ready. At least you prepare yourself that the data is good enough. And so you prepare yourself the mind that the data may or may not be compatible with a build model. I need to have a few models in place so that if one does not go, the other, the other I can do and tinker around and then I can publish. So not necessarily that the data, and then very rarely it happens. So once you collect the data, the model is fixed. Those things are rare. Remember the important point after collecting data, your data can throw some surprises. So you have to be, those surprises could be something, could be a very big also. So don't lose out that. What do you mean by that? That particular surprises maybe has a potential, can have the potential to publish a top journal, because those things are really against certain theory or some new theory or new concepts. So you remember that there is metadata, the data analysis stage, if you are in, there could be some surprises. Your data can have some surprises. If you are lucky, you can also have one data collection. You can have 2 to 3 papers you can take out from this data analysis, and you can publish 2 to 3 papers, right? Okay, so this is how the data analysis and theory. So I'm into at stage where I have collected the data. I want to see whether the model is fitting or not fitting. But remember, data analysis, not necessarily you should put a kind of see that it will be coming like this. It shows some surprises. Remember, there are places I've seen in the thesis, for example. I think I will tell you the conceptual framework. I'll explain. I will explain the conceptual framework. So I'm there for 3 days. So 3 sessions. So I will definitely touch upon that also. Right. Now, I've seen research thesis, or not research paper, journals on, you don't get all this benefit in journals. But in thesis, I've seen many analysis, particularly more so from universities which are slightly rural India, in deep districts. Yeah, there are some in cities also, in metro cities also. There are some universities. You can see those. What happened is the analysis contains few ANOVAs, few chi-square tests, could be one SEM, could be it's like this. The guide will tell you put some analysis so that the more the analysis, the thesis look bigger and look good according to the guide. So remember, the first thing you should remove from your mind: do not put some analysis which is not useful. Use which are very relevant to your study. So then ask you what is relevant. You read the objectives of the study and your analysis must be towards it. Do not add because you like it. Okay, the quality of your thesis will go down if we looked by an expert. So that is an issue. Remember, do not add any statistical test unwanted. That's the point I want to tell you. That's what I said. Data analysis based on the research objectives. Now remember always what is the unit of analysis. Some of them are doing, my friends are doing entrepreneurships. Okay, they can have possibly one unit of MSME or SME, small and medium scale industries, could be a unit of analysis. So not necessarily a respondent. It could be a firm as well. It could be a small size firm as well. So remember, what is the kind of unit you have in your study? There are places, there are studies I have seen. There are studies I have seen that they have a multi-level data multi-level model has been built. What is that multi-level model? Some questions are for the consumer and some questions for the firm level. So some people in the firm, some managers will answer, and some on the other end in the same model. I'm talking one model, but you get your respondents are two different sources. One could be consumer and one could be retailers, for example. Okay, those kind of studies are also becoming prevalent. Okay, prevalent in some of the domains of some of the domains. Okay, so that is what is called as a multi-level modeling and multi-level studies. So you have you collect data from, you have one particular model, and then you also collect for one particular model you have data from two sources. Typical example are, I have a retail store, retail owner as one, and the other one could be the end user or the consumer, right? That is also there. So do not think that you can only cross-sectional one respondent. Yeah, I'm just trying to break for if some of them has the same monotonous idea. It is not so. You can have like this, what is called as a multi-level data. I think I mentioned this primary and secondary data. Now I think I want to add something to this primary data. Primary data, you have a question that you collect it, right? Secondary data are available. Now, there is something called the CMIE data. I think I'll put them in the chat box. I see a lot of RMDA and other things. I'll put this CMIE data is available. I think even CMIE, I think I have a specific for what is called customer pyramid. Somebody is interested in customer and economics and other domain. Customer pyramid data are available in CMIE. Pyramid in CMIE data. So look into that. Only thing is you need to subscribe. But if some of your friends been at their institute got this subscription, then you can ask for help and then you can collect data. But those data are big, very voluminous data. They have around 1 lakh and odd families. They collected data even during the COVID time. So very rich data are available in CMI. Okay. right? So not necessarily you think of primary data and secondary data, published data. Think of some agencies have some specific data. Remember, like you go to a market, you have a plan, otherwise your market, going to a market, you waste some time. You may not procure everything. So remember like this, in a data analysis, you must have a plan in hand, not after collecting data. Sorry, you must have everything you have must have before collecting. What is the time going to do with the data? What will happen if X plan or A plan fails? I must have a B plan. I must have a C plan. So all these things are, you must have well before the analysis. Like for example, whether I want to test a mediation or a moderation, all these things I should have in advance. I should have everything in ready. So that's something very important, right? I think next is, I think I've just mentioned, remember this, I have seen in my eyes that some of the data will give you some surprises. If you don't put that blinker of getting if I don't put getting surprise results in the data, then you may not see that the importance of some surprises. Some surprises are very good in the sense you can disprove some theory. This could be meaningful, which I am not saying that the data come. No, it's not that. It is hidden the data. It is very much hidden the data, and that is why it's coming out. So that could be, that particular evidence could be very useful for you to disprove some theories. That could be very useful. So when you do an analysis, think of there is a surprise. Always look for some surprise. At the same time, I also want to tell you, what is it you're looking for sometimes may not come also. So that's why I told in the beginning that you must have alternate model, 1, 2, 3 possible, right? Remember, if I have an option of collecting data, particularly more so in a psychology, in a social science stream, I would rather prefer to collect data, what is called as a metric data. I would try to avoid non-metric data, right? I would try to avoid a non-metric data. So I will tell you what is the non-metric data and the metric data, because I understand all of you here sitting here would have undergone the research methodology course for any point of time. It could be a PG or a doctorate. If you have, for example, if I have a nominal data, if I have a nominal data or an ordinal data, and this too comes under non-metric data. Okay, this comes under non-metric data. So we don't use now quantifiable data. Yeah, quantifiable data is. I have, for example, I can also have metric data. For example, the Likert scale data or your bipolar data, scale data. All these are metric data, right? So if I collect, if my metric data or a quantifiable data have a zero origin, then I think it's wonderful. Okay. So remember, do not collect if there's an option available to you to collect a ranked data or a Likert scale data. I'll put it another way in order to make you understand better. For example, if I ask you to collect a rank data or a Likert scale data or interval scale, Likert scale data is a typical example and very popular interval scale data, right? Okay. Okay. So if there is an option given rank data or interval data, please do not take any rank data. I tell you, been in this data analysis site for some time. It's very difficult to compute, estimate those data. So this is junk. Fine. You don't know what to do, right? Remember, anything you do in the questionnaire, I call this. We all call this an instrument. You have to be very careful, including the rank data collection. Okay. But certain areas, yes, sir. But I'll tell you, very rarely we use ranked data unless until it's required, right? So option is given to researchers. The point I want to tell you here, is if you have an option given to you whether to go for a metric data or a non-metric data, been in the field of analysis for some time, we understand the data related issues. I would suggest you do not even think of non-metric data, only collect metric data, or what is called as a Likert scale data or a ratio scale data. That too I club together and say as a metric data, ratio and interval data. Right. Now, this is one area I want to touch. So remember, one more thing I forgot to tell you now. I think it is possible for me to convert a higher level data to a lower level data, but not the other way. For example, I can convert a higher Likert scale data into a rank data, or I can even I can convert a Likert scale data into a nominal data. But if I collect a nominal data, I cannot convert them into an interval or a ratio scale. So conversion of higher level data to lower level data is possible, but the vice versa is not possible. This is also one of the reasons I hate to collect the rank data. At least I collect the demographic profile and nominal data because I use them for the moderator. Ranking data, I rather avoid because I know I cannot, even if I do a statistical analysis, like something like Spearman rank correlation, I can use a Mann-Whitney test. I can use something like that if I use. They are not very good statistical tests. They are not robust in nature. I cannot prove my hypothesis in total because such tests are not very robust, right? Now, the other point, a very important point I want to tell you, I think I'll slightly make this big. I think is if I have, do not create any questions on your own. Do not create any questions on your own. Okay, I will answer to you, Sarvanapriya, I will answer to you. Please give me some time. Okay, it's a very elaborate question, so I won't be able to answer it one. Now, people have seen in many places and many universities, because I've been conducting FDP for a very long time. I've seen people when they just start writing questions for the questioners, they themselves write. I don't know how they got the skill suddenly, right? So they start writing questions, 50, 60 questions. They say this is the PhD questions. Okay. I will tell you that the scale development is a very difficult area by itself. Okay, that what is scale? Scale is a set of questions, right? So scale, do not write anything on your own. You don't know, many of you don't know what is the tenets of a classical test theory. Many of you don't know what is the item response theory. You don't know what is a domain. So many things on development of questions. You are not very aware of it. Then how can you write questions on your own? So do not do that. Okay. Okay. Subhashini, I'll answer that. Yeah, I'll answer that. Okay. So do not write any questions on your own. Because scale development itself is time-consuming area. It's a very time-consuming perspective. You need to spend a lot of time in order to create the 10 questions, 5 questions, whatever your scale, whatever your concepts or constructs require. Right? So do not write anything on your own. Rather, what is the best way? Collect, use adopted scale. There is scale. Scale has been developed. There are a lot of concepts. Umpty number of scale has been developed. Why are you reinventing the wheel? Unnecessary. So my suggestion is, if you are not an expert, you are just getting into a PhD, do not get into those trouble. Do not get into those trouble. So what I suggest, use already available scales. Now, I'll stop share. I think I have a book to tell you, okay, just to give you some idea about the, right? I hope you are all very tired after listening to me. I know some of you would have gone to college and come back. Yeah. Right. Now I'll just share the screen. It's on 15,000 rupees the cost of the book. It is now going for a third edition. Yeah, all big B school, they have this because I think with the help of this, the students can do the empirical project. So a lot of benefits. Nothing wrong in buying this book for your library if it is possible, because this is really worth. I want to show the cover page. Possible, I'll show the some of the pages also. It's not a big book. Yeah. Okay. So say, look at this. Look at this. Handbook of Marketing Skills. I do not think that's only marketing. You have attitude, behavior skills, and so on, and psychology skills, so on, right? Many of the management skills are available. You can even domain like education can borrow skills from this as long as it is useful to you. So I before this Miyasi Institute of Management, I worked at Great Lakes Institute of Management, where we have this in the library. So what students will do, we don't give them to students. So we ask the students to take a photo of the particular scale, right? I just go through. This is a second edition. The third edition has come. Right. Okay. Very famous authors these authors are, so I think you can depend. And these authors are available. Yeah. So you have, it comes in stage. Okay, ask for discount, they'll give you 20%, 30%. Yeah. Now you see those variables are not, don't think that this marketing means marketing. You see, interpersonal orientation, the scale, developed by Cohen in 1967. Okay. So there are so much need for precision. I think any individual want need for precision. Preference for consistency. Okay. Why somebody is preference for why somebody is consistent and somebody is not. You want to measure? Yeah, you can do it. It's very relevant for education domain. Okay. Now, values, for example. Okay. So do not close your eyes that I don't belong to this domain, because there could be some learning from this domain to that domain. We appreciate and we encourage cross-domain research and so on. So if I just want to show you, I just want to drag and show you one question and how it has been given. So that's why I'm making that. Okay. I think Sai Leela ma'am, I'm taking some time, or it's okay for you. I don't know. Was a Sai Leela? I know. No, inner other directness, social, something like this. Okay. This is developed in what year? Is developed in what year? And then what is the description? How many items? How they are done? So everything is transparent. How they did the validity scores and where you get this, how to cite everything. I don't know the other domains, they have a scale book. I'm not very sure. But in my domain, I know that this is right. So what the point I want to tell you is, do not create any questions on your own. But there are umpteen number of sources. There are scales already available. If it's not available, and if you are a very young researcher, do not get into the trouble of creating any scales. It will not work out. It will not have internal consistency or Cronbach alpha. You fail and you don't know what to do. And please understand in India, if you are doing research, you may have hundreds of faculties around, a lot of colleagues around, but resourceful people are very few. So they only laugh at you that you're not got the answer. So nobody is going to help you in research. Please understand that. So do not take it all or whatever we are telling our experiences. So do not do that. If you do that, it's going to be this kind of thing. If you still want to do it, and you can do it, read them, read how to do a scale, right? So I'm stopping this book. This book is available. If anybody want this, send a mail to me. I'll also give. I'll help you in giving this e-copy. Though it's illegal, no problem. As long as it's useful to you. This is my email ID and my phone number as well. So somebody want. So I have this. Just send a test mail. Just send a test mail so I can attach this to. Okay. Okay. So I think I'll go to the PPT. So now the other things you can see, I can read a list of multivariate statistics, factor analysis, confirmatory factor analysis, multiple regression, logistic regression. Then you have, I think, many types of regression. I know at least 6 to 8 types of regression. Then you have the multiple multi-dimensional scaling. You have conjoined analysis. I don't know whether I missed out in the hurry, but a lot of multi-number of statistical techniques are available. But remember, in a social science domain, or in case any domain, there are only few are very popular. So you don't have to be an expert in all the statistical tools available. It's not possible. It's impossible. Because even if you read them and understand, but the practical experience is something different when you do the analysis. So what I say is you focus on 2 to 3 techniques maximum, or at least 1 or 2 techniques. That will do for your research. Okay, and focusing your time on such statistical techniques, I think it's not really helpful, right? It's not going to be useful. What you require to enhance your career in academics is only quality research publication. That nobody is really keen unless until if you want to do a business analytic course or marketing analytical course, something like management analytic course, something like that. Then there's a chance that people will like you if you know more statistical techniques. Right? Now, people in the interview board or in the selection procedure want to know how many papers you published and whether it is in the Web of Science or Scopus. And okay. Madam, shall I close it or and I start tomorrow? What is your hello? Shall I start tomorrow because already time is 7 plus?
Sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me. I can hear you, madam. Yes, tell me.
No, sir. Shall we wind up the session? Or...
That's what I'm asking, because I saw in the chat boxes, many of them telling thank you so much, sir. So it's indication that people are okay. Enough. Tomorrow will start. Yeah, Subhash is telling we can continue tomorrow. So I have a lot of things to say. I have not even started my PPT, which is around 60. I have just started. So many things I have. All these are out of my experience. Okay, so I'll close it now. And I thank you for all the patience. I think I'll come tomorrow also evening. And
yes, sir. For structure equation modeling.
Modeling and yeah. Okay.
So what the participants have to do, sir, for tomorrow's session? They should be prepared with.
No, I think since the sessions are very short, they can ask me a lot of questions. They can come prepared so that the learning graph goes exponentially. Otherwise, I think not much I can say, because 1.5 hours. I can't give a in-class exercise and other things. So it's only a discussion on how to do SAM.
But is there any demo session, sir?
Yeah, I will show you that demo. I can show you, madam.
With the help of which software, sir?
I want to do in AMOS and SPSS. AMOS, AMOS.
How to install it, sir?
Yeah, you can get some old version and that will be available in the public domain. You ask them to install it.
They must install.
Yeah, it's available. Yeah. They can have a database in Excel and then we can do it also.
Oh, okay, okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, sir,
Yeah,
for the
it's-
session on
it's
mediation
some-
analysis.
Yeah, thank you, madam.
Tomorrow we can continue, sir.
Yeah, some questions I know, I'm conscious that I have not answered. Please put it tomorrow because I feel everybody is tired at the end of the day. Thank you so much and good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.